Salutations, everyone. Welcome to the TheCoasterCasterPodcast for the week of October 13th, 2015. I'm your host, Alex Official. Joining me today is the host, the main host of the TheCoasterCasters, Travis.
What's up?
We have a member from the queue. He is Bryce.
Hello.
And before we begin, Erin.
Yeah.
Whose name is this? I don't know the line.
You ruined it.
Your bit's not working, sir.
Line. We ruined a joke.
Soiled it.
Let's drop it.
What is going
Just
on?
drop it.
Soren Disney.
Yes.
Yay!
I'm here.
Sure. And his name is Soren Disney.
Yes.
Cool. At least I have some sort of goddamn fashion. Travis, let's start with you. Let's get this going.
All right. Well, Ken's on his way. He'll be here soon. I told him he needs to get his butt here, right now. First thing, I want to thank you all for coming. This is my first official podcast, and I'm actually celebrating my first month with the whole theme park Twitter.
God help you.
I'm celebrating 2 days.
Shut up, Bryce. And I actually especially want to thank Owen because he's the reason why we're actually all here today.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
If it wasn't for him giving me the idea of doing this, we would not have even met any of us have, besides me and Bryce.
Okay.
I've known Alex for a little bit, so.
Stuff from being guest on Pop and all that, yeah.
But today, I think we came up with the 4, right? The 4 topics?
Yep. Well, the 3 topics that we're discussing today. First off is we are going to talk about a brand new thing that's coming to Disney Hollywood Studios in December. 2 new things, as a matter of fact. On December 5th, we will be seeing a brand new theater venue called Sunset Showcase, which will have a brand new indoor AC environment for charging phones and having live music.
Awesome.
Called Club Disney, and a rumor, sort of, I'm starting this up, and it makes sense due to this day as well. I have a little speculation that on December, because there were some updates to the walls for Star Wars Launch Bay, December has already been confirmed thanks to the construction walls. So I'm going to toss this to you. Do you think we're going to see Star Wars Launch Bay and Club Disney open on the same day of December 5th? Travis, let's start with you.
Yes, I do. I feel like they're going to have some. I feel like they're going to have some type of event dealing with The Force Awakens and with Launch Bay and Star Wars Land, and they're going to do stuff dealing with Club Disney and Launch Bay. They're going to show Force Awakens stuff in Launch Bay.
What? Well, we don't exactly have the Star Wars Season 4 for Hollywood Studios yet, though.
We're getting in January.
Yeah, so wouldn't you want to wait on doing a Star Wars launch event besides the Launch Bay itself?
No, they are not going to do that.
It's just a preview center. It's not something for cupcakes.
But aren't they previewing stuff for The Force Awakens?
They are, but it's kind of like what California is doing.
Yeah.
But California basically had to do it because they're doing Hyperspace Mountain.
Well, not exactly.
The Force Awakens comes out on the 18th, correct?
Yes,
17th.
but Season 4... No, the 18th. 17th for midnight showings, but...
Yeah.
I say 17th because I'm going to go.
That being said, the differences between Season of the Force for both coasts is that I believe Orlando is like the Symphony of the Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah. With a stageless globe, like Chinese theater.
Ken's here?
Okay?
Yep.
Ken?
Nope, he's not here.
Okay.
And California's getting the hyperspace.
What is going on?
I don't know. And do you want to talk about Star Wars Launch Bay and Club Disney?
Well, Club Disney is interesting because basically you just have a new location to do the same thing that they were doing over at the wonderful Captain Jack Sparrow attraction that failed so miserably.
Thank you for reminding me about that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I went through that with Lynn Testa, so yeah, that was entertaining to say the least. So, yeah, I will say right now that it's just another place that you're going to be able to charge your devices, get a snack. But this time it's got a DJ, so yeah.
Yeah.
Do we think it's gonna be? Hey, do we think it's gonna be DJ Cool?
Oh, man.
Stardust.
You know, right now, I'm really thinking that of course, they set an actual date for Disneyland to open this, so it's not going to be the same time, obviously. We know it's going to be after the November 16th date, but I'm not exactly sure if it's going to open in tune with Club Disney. I don't know if Launch Bay will be open by December, like early December, but I do think it'll be ready for the Christmas time because they're going to need as much capacity as they can get at this point because the parks are getting crowded when it is not busy. And when it used to be busy, it's still busy now. So basically, it's to the point now there is no downtime at Disney anymore. There used to be, but now there's not. So
Much like that, and it's starting to actually happen at Universal too. There's no downtime at Universal.
no, but there's a lot more construction at Disney right now.
Yeah,
It's
too much.
taking a lot more time.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And we're about to get hit.
It's because Universal has all the cranes.
Yes, and
Yeah,
they have magic gnomes that finish things overnight.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
look
like
at
you never know. Tomorrow we can wake up and Hulk's open.
Yeah, Volcano Bay is like magically up overnight. There you go.
Cabana Bay's 13 expansions are finished.
too. But any more topics and thoughts on Club Disney and Star Wars Launch Bay?
I think Launch Bay's going to be awesome.
It should be good because Star Wars fans really need something other than just an attraction to tide them over until they get a full land.
I agree, and that actually makes a lot of sense. So you can actually give in for some Star Wars Episode 7, Episode 8, Rogue One, and Han Solo stuff during this time.
And they got rid of Star Wars weekends, so they're going to have to do something else with it.
Yeah.
And
And I'm thinking hard ticket if they go that route.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what exactly Season of the Force is going to do, because I'm hoping it doesn't have that stage come back.
Well, the only thing I liked about that stage is that's where Mulch performed, so
Oh, rest in
That's it.
peace.
yeah, we need to talk about Mulch later, actually.
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
you want to talk about that?
Yes, I do, actually.
All right, let's talk about it. Old Swing.
Wait, can I talk about one Star Wars thing real quick? I want this all day. Do you guys think that they will move Star Tours to Star Wars Land and Disneyland?
No.
You don't think so?
I actually think Star Tours is going to be gone for Disneyland.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, and do they have the room to put that there?
No.
Well, here's the thing. It's going to be, isn't Star Wars Land, Disneyland, and Disney World the same exact acreage?
No. Well, technically yes, but the layout will be immensely different.
Is it going to be a different, planet?
It'll be the
Or is
same
it gonna
planet.
be-
Same
it'll be-
planet, same attractions. There's 2 attractions that have been announced. One being a Han Solo attraction, and one being based on the new trilogy.
The First Order and the Resistance.
Yes. And nothing else has come out of it, so I wouldn't be surprised that Star Tours is not going to be around here any longer. At least, I give it till 2020. That's how long I think it will be until Star Tours from California goes.
Do you think Star Tours in Hollywood or Hollywood Studios will stay for a while?
I think it's staying for a while, even after. They need all the attractions they get, and there's really not going to be any.
Yeah, because even with all these expansions that they're talking about with Toy Story Land's only going to have 2 or 3 rides.
3. And
and then Star Wars Land's going to have 3, and then you have.
No, Star Tours is having 2.
Plus Star Wars plus the 2 Star Wars ones, the new ones, and then Star Tours. I'll make it 3 for Star Wars Land and Hollywood Studios.
Yes.
Yeah, and then they'll have Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror. Who knows how long those will be there for?
They'll be fine.
Yeah, they'll stay.
I hope so. Freaking love Rock and Roller Coaster.
The only thing you possibly could see is maybe a rebranding with a different band somewhere down the line if Aerosmith doesn't want to continue their contract. But
must have a Fallout
that's
Boy.
all I can see happening.
I think they'll do Fall Out Boy because of Immortals.
No. If Fall Out Boy's going anywhere, it fits better at Universal, but I don't think that's going to happen either. So.
Yeah. But who knows? But there was those crazy ass rumors of a Guardians of the Galaxy ride, but now they're going to be gone.
That's such a shame.
Yeah.
Because of one particular little film coming in our direction. Well, 2 films. So, yeah, I'm sorry to say it, but we're not going to see Guardians of the Galaxy at Walt Disney World.
We'll see walk around characters potentially because they've already done it.
Yeah.
Even then, I just still have my doubts because what's going to happen with the MCU in Phase 3?
They're not involved on this coast.
Yeah, I'm very sorry for the Orlando people. I'm very happy for the Orlando people, if you want to put it that way.
But we got.
Did you guys see that Marvel announced Phase 4?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, technically it starts with Inhumans, so
Yeah.
They are really oversaturating the market with superhero films. That's gonna bite them in the behind in the end.
yeah.
Yes, they are. Yes.
We've been seeing.
Let's talk about Bolt Sweat though, because Owen wanted to talk about that.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because Hollywood Studios, it'll always be MGM to me. The studios itself has always been my favorite park, and it's because I'm a movie guy and always have been. It's the reason, obviously, part of the reason why this channel somewhat exists. But I will state right now that I'm so sad to see what kind of a shape my favorite park is in right at this moment. And
Disney, you're talking Fun Spot.
Welcome, Ken.
Hello. I am sorry I am late. I was setting up a TV, a smart TV. Oh my god, TVs have become too complicated.
Hey Ken, turn off your webcam because you're kind of pitch black.
I keep a thing over top of my webcam in case it ever turns on, so if people don't see me naked or something. Not that I'm naked right now, but not that I'm not naked right now.
Before Ken interrupted you, what you were saying?
Oh God. No, I was just saying that I've always been a big fan of the studios, and it really upsets me to see what has become of it. I know that it's going to be great in the end, but it's getting there. That's going to be the problem. And Disney as a whole right now is making a lot of very bad decisions when it comes to their, not the general public, but their diehard fans that come year after year. I understand that's not what they're aiming for anymore, but they're making a lot of bad decisions, getting rid of a lot of entertainment options that still do, I can't say record number business, but they still do enough business to justify being there. Like, look at Mulch's last sets. I mean, they were packed every single time.
Yes, they were.
And it deserves to be because Mulch is quality entertainment.
Because it was the last set.
Exactly, and people had to be there for it, just like the final nights of Pleasure Island.
And
the final night of that.
It's like the final ride of Maelstrom. That doesn't mean the ride is popular. That doesn't mean the show is popular. That doesn't mean it doesn't need to change. Now, taking it away and not providing any new options is an issue.
That's what they're doing.
The issue.
That's what they do. They take away everything all the time. I mean, they took Duffy away, but they're Or they're bringing like a Duffy, like a female Duffy clone, like the Shelley May thing over now, so they could replace it. But it's one of those things that they're not replacing these entertainment options, and it's giving the crowds a lot less to do, especially in the studios.
I agree with that.
Fast Pass Plus is a great thing, but it's also killed a lot of things in the parks as well.
It's a
Yes,
great
it has.
thing, and especially when you consider what's happening with Toy Story Midway Mania. And look at that. That's really bad.
Yeah, that ride consistently does hour, 2 hour, 3 hour long waits every single day. And now knowing that you have to, if you even want to ride it and you don't want to wait in a 2 hour line, you have to do Fast Pass. And if you don't do Fast Pass Plus right away, you're not going to get that reservation. It's the same with the Mine Train.
Exactly.
True.
And Soarin'.
And Soren's gonna. Let's hope Soren can get that third feeder actually having some chunks taken away.
Mhm.
It'll be fine once it opens, honestly. It'll help Soarin's capacity very well. But the problem is in the meantime, we have Soarin' and Toy Story Mania, two of the most consistent rides in the parks. They're always busy, regardless what time of year it is. They're always busy. The standby wait is always just extraordinary.
Ridiculous. I went.
Yeah, it really is.
I went on a band trip a year or two ago, something like that. And first ride we went to whenever the park opened, because we were there for Rope Drop.
Yeah, of course.
Whenever the park opened, we went straight to Toy Story Mania already at a 90-minute wait.
Yeah, of course.
And it showed.
Yeah, we were talking yesterday or the other day on the Point 5 cast, and we were saying that with any line, not even the HHN lines, it would have to be something really special for you to have to wait for hours on end to go into action.
I mean, look at when Forbidden Journey and when Escape from Gringotts opened. They had like 5-hour lines, and they actually cut the line off like 4 hours before the park closed because they were so filled up they were not going to get everybody through by the time that they closed.
And that's the bad thing that's going on with theme parks now is they're hyping up attractions, and everyone's hyping up attractions, and they're doing big names like Frozen and Harry Potter and Star Wars and Toy Story. They're going to have long lines when they open.
It is not the park. Disney right now, by and large, is not the parks that I grew up with. And it's not the parks that a lot of people grew up with. It's all about the bottom line now, and it's all about the mighty dollar, and it's going to come to a point very, very soon. I'm talking in the next 10 years, if not way before that. That's going to be a 1%er only location for people to go one time a year and one time a lifetime. That's going to be it. Like, you're going to basically have your foreign market that's going to push your business, and that's going to put more money in Disney's pocket, obviously, because they're willing to pay more money because it's their once-in-a-lifetime vacation, and they're not just the annual pass holders who just get kicked under the rugs every year.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
So, that being said, does anyone else have any thoughts? Well, I'm just saying, Mulch, Sweat, and Tears. Anything else you want to talk about, Owen?
I miss Mulch already.
When we did reunion with WDW Today, every single year we'd have a Mulch, Sweat, and Tears, Mulch, Sweat, and Frozen Tears, Mulch, Sweat, and Cheers. We'd have all three of those the last 3 years at reunion, and we would go as a group to a Mulch performance, and we would cheer like we were seeing the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. And it was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had. And the band themselves acknowledge the fact that they don't feel like rock stars unless it's reunion or it's New Year's Eve. And that's something really awesome to hear, especially when you're a crowd cheering. I think Mulch is very, very underrated. I really think that Mulch, I think that Off Kilter, and I think the British Invasion need to go to Universal and be treated a lot better.
Yes. I think.
But I know Mulch has a band, though. I know, obviously, there's Los Lawn Boys. I mean, they'll do just fine, but it's going to suck not seeing them in the parks.
Yeah.
Agreed. Anyone else?
I have one thing that's off Disney or off Mulch, Sweat, and Tears, or Cheers or whatever, but it's on the subject of park entertainment. What do you guys think of Straight Outta Food Truck?
It depends on the cast, honestly.
Yes.
Some of them are good. Some of them need a little bit of work, but they're trying. And they're sometimes performing to not very many people. So it takes a lot to perform anything that involves improv in front of no crowd. you really have to be on your toes, and that's what they have to do.
I agree.
Yeah.
Improv
But
is
I've-
probably good points, but
I've
I
watched.
think of all the universal groups, they're the ones that is the weakest, and that it pains me to say that because they're the one that I have the most friends that are involved in.
Mm.
I think we're losing someone.
Yeah,
That's
we're
weakest.
losing Ken.
You're losing me?
Yeah.
No,
You were kind of going down a tunnel for a second there.
yeah.
Okay, I was saying that of all the groups that all the new music groups at Universal, they're the weakest.
Mm.
It pains me to say that because they're the one that I know the most people in.
Yeah.
Of all the new music that's come to the park, they are the weakest group.
Well, I was watching one in Tim and Jen's video. Not Tim and Jen. Yeah, I think Tim and Jen. And they walked by a food truck, and whenever I went to Universal with my band group, the Lonnie that we had in Disaster was the Lonnie that was doing straight out food truck.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
They've moved a lot of people around. They've had to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those people will be hired at probably Fast and Furious whenever it opens.
Or
Yeah.
they're probably going to be moved over to like Dagon or
Or Kong, yeah.
yeah, that or another Universal area like Sewa. Because right now they're going to need some help with that. But that being said, we're going to be talking about really quick. I'm going to go rant mode real quick. On November 16th, we'll be seeing two new openings at Disneyland Park, Star Wars Launch Bay, and Marvel Superhero HQ.
Yeah. Which
And we already talked about Star Wars Launch Bay to the extent, and Marvel Launch Bay has been rumored for a while, and it was announced that Spider-Man, no, not IOA Spider-Man, Spider-Man is going to be coming along the way as a meet and greet for Marvel.
yeah.
Spooderman.
Have they mentioned any other characters for the meet and greet, or is it just
Spider-Man.
No.
why Spider-Man? You know?
Well, right now, the only confirmation is Spidey.
Yeah.
But it's best to assume Captain America, Thor, and
Iron Man.
Yeah.
we'll get something. But,
We won't get Hulk.
no, we could, but it's just going to be a hard thing to do.
Yeah, it's
It
gonna
could be like how they do Baymax, just put him in a big suit.
But what's interesting is Spider-Man was the one, if you call back to the rumors of the...
Yeah, I'm going to mention that.
Okay.
Let's let Alex rant for a little bit.
Yay, rants.
You have this giant global IP, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You're not doing anything in Orlando. You have a park that's solely needed for at least something else that's bigger than Cars Land that's right itself in,
Thank you.
and you're doing a goddamn meet and greet.
Thank you.
Doing a goddamn meet and greet on something that should be in a bigger presence. I don't like My Shed as much, but I'll give them credit. The Marvel Land rumor, it actually sounds like it would make sense. Given the odds, it would make sense for something like this. Marvel is not going to happen for Walt Disney World because of obvious reasons, so why not bring it over to Disneyland? And it's just confusing why the hell they would just put it as a meet and greet area in a place that wouldn't exactly be good for it.
This really old building in the
Which can be demolished and used as a goddamn ride building.
yeah. And it's only going to be used for a meet and greet center now, you know?
Yeah, because they stopped, there was a lawsuit that happened, I believe, last year that kind of pushed the brakes entirely on rotations for exhibits.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you might as well want to get rid of it, but you can't. And the
What
sad thing
happened?
is... sad thing is, you're probably not going to see anything Marvel attraction oriented until after Star Wars Land for California.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see any Marvel for a while. Like,
I think this is the
while.
only thing that you're going to see from the MCU for the next 4 years. 4 to 5. And that's sad, considering Phase 2 and Phase 3 and Phase 4.
Yeah.
So much material.
So,
Well, what they could do, because they're doing it, I believe it's in Hong Kong or Tokyo,
and
something like that.
And that's what I meant too with Star Tours. I think that's going to get replaced actually by Iron Man Experience.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was about to say it could get replaced by Iron Man Experience.
As much as people give shit about it, I actually think it does look decent enough to be a replacement for Star Tours.
I do too.
yeah.
But it's
I think it's going to be fun.
yeah, I'm not exactly excited about it. Owen, you were saying something?
Yeah, it's weird because what happened to the original idea of which turning the old Interventions to Stark Industries? Like,
Yeah.
I remember hearing that rumor, and I thought that was something that really would have worked.
And then California
I would've
Adventure was getting that rumor of getting like a full-on Avengers attraction with Transformers and Rock and Roller Coaster type tech.
Well, the West Coast doesn't have an issue. That's the weird thing. And they're the ones doing the meet and greet, which makes more sense on the East Coast where we do have the issue. But in the West Coast, there's no rules. You can do what you want at Disneyland and DCA, but they're not going to because they're going to rest on Star Wars for a while, which is going to make sense because it's going to do business.
Exactly.
Do we think? Do you guys think that the price increase of the annual pass has to deal with Star Wars?
Yes.
Partially, but I think that they're starting to realize that they can charge more and people will still pay it.
Yeah, if anything, because 2018 is probably going to be the year of Star Wars, it's probably going to be up like by 200 right now, and that's kind of sad.
Now, whenever you said that Disney's going to become a once-in-a-lifetime park,
yeah,
or once-in-a-year park,
yeah,
that makes me really, really sad.
And considering the fact that Universal is
considerably cheaper.
Okay, let me put it this way, and this is going to ruffle a lot of feathers, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I know I'm Sir Owen Disney, but I'll state a fact right now. Walt Disney would appreciate the business model of Universal Studios versus Walt Disney.
Yes, he would.
Yeah.
And a lot of people said that too. Even Walt Disney, the man himself, would appreciate Universal, how much of corporate it is. It's at very least giving what it's supposed to.
But Walt was still a bottom line guy as well. He would appreciate the ideals of Universal, but I think the price raising every once in a while and every year, I don't think he would veto it.
Yeah.
There's a part of me, because I was going to talk about this, but I want to talk about it a little bit. I went to Walt Disney's hometown in Marceline, Missouri, and
nice.
It was really fun. It was really fun. I was thinking about talking about it, which if you want to, we could. I have stuff
right
prepared
now
for
we're about
it.
like 17 minutes behind, so that's why I'm kind of...
Yeah, that's why we're trying to move through, which I can do it on a different one, probably next week or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Probably.
it made me realize what Walt did to theme parks. He made it like once in a lifetime opportunity just to go see something that you've seen on the big screen, for example.
And I'll give credit to Universal. They're making that happen.
They
Yeah.
are with Harry Potter, with Transformers, with
King
Mummy.
Kong.
Even though they came a little bit after the movies were popular, they're still doing it.
I think Despicable Me should have been a lot bigger, and I don't think they were really understanding exactly what it could have been, and that's why they're probably kicking themselves right now.
Those stupid little yellow monsters are just ridiculous.
They're over. They just are. That's just how it is. It's a fact of life.
But, yeah. Anything else you want to talk about on Marvel Superhero?
Did we want to talk about that other thing that you heard about?
Yes, some people, including me, have gotten surveys from Universal Orlando about the upcoming theme park, Volcano Bay, coming in 2017. It's not exactly much confidential, So that's why it's best it can actually be shared. We're going to be talking about really quick. Volcano Bay will have many unique offerings, and one of those is actually virtual queuing. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically, if you've been to a water park, it's a queueless type system where you get a reservation, you go and enjoy the water park. When you get that reservation, effect, like some sort of trigger, you can go instantly and go into the attraction very easily. And that's essentially what they're doing for attractions, much like speed rides, drop slides. And one thing that was actually found with pens, a new type of wave pool which would use technology to move these waves to crash in all sorts of directions, as something that hasn't been done in the water park industry before. One thing in particular. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sorry, something.
It's alright. While he's gone, I can actually probably talk a little bit about quick. They have it has a bunch of different pods in it. What is the thinking?
Okay, is everyone still there?
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah.
Bryce?
And,
No, you were cutting out a bit. That's what I was saying.
yeah, just something happened. I needed to get this out. Something out of
Okay.
But yeah, the water park will also have 3 distinct villages with the iconic volcano that will serve as the heart of the water park. One thing in particular also of attractions, there will be a new water coaster using the latest technology in the water slide industry.
Ooh.
And with lazy rivers also, you'll be able to go into the glowing cave with special water effects and other things. So yeah,
You
that
see
being said,
Shadowbond having effect on Volcano Bay?
I don't think it's just that. I think it's the Alice Waterland, and I think it's
So
other
do you
water.
see Shadowbond, South Florida? They're building the new Shadowbond Park in South Florida. I know it's a few hours away, but
Well, here's the thing. This project has been
the latest technology.
This project has been in development since about like 2011, 2010. So that kind of takes aside that. But
I didn't know they were ranking a Schlitterbahn, South Florida.
Yeah, they just hit a hiccup with the tax money, but it's still the one that's almost open in Texas. As soon as that one opens, the next one is the South Florida one, and that's going to be the last one that the leader of Schlitterbahn is going to do before he retires. And they're promising this is going to have the latest and greatest technology, and is going to be one of the flagship.
well, here's the thing. That's not going to open in 2017. So
No.
you got to at least. And this project's been in development since 2011, 2010. So there's been a lot more than Schlitterbahn been having so far. But thoughts on the Volcano Bay info itself of the 3 villages, the water slide, and virtual queuing.
I'm just happy that a new park is being built somewhere in Florida. Because whenever I go, it's usually go to SeaWorld. Yes, I still go to SeaWorld.
Yay!
I know it's not bad.
I've got my favorite coaster in Orlando.
Exactly, Manta right there.
Yep.
And favorite coaster for a lot of people.
You got SeaWorld, you got Disney World, and you got Universal. Those are the only ones I go to.
What do you think of the wave pool?
Where?
The wave pool that I mentioned that have the technology to have these water waves going in all directions.
I don't know. I feel like I'd be the idiot that gets sucked up and gets stuck underwater. Because that's me.
I said a long time ago when we did a Universal Parks and Resorts podcast that I think that Volcano Bay is going to be a game changer. And I think it's going to revolutionize water parks in general, and it's going to make everybody step their game up, even Schlitterbahn, places that everybody looks to when it comes to for water parks. I mean, even Disney. Disney has some solid water parks, but they're sitting stagnant. They're not doing anything different. I mean, the last thing they did was like the promotion for Teen Beach Movie.
Oh,
and before that, it was Crush and Gusher was the last ride they built. I really think
2005.
This is going to be big, though. I really do. I really think that Volcano Bay is going to be huge, and I really think that it's going to be, I can't say a destination, but I do think it's going to be a place that people are going to go on the regular. And
it's a perfect location, especially for Gavan Bay.
I really want them to go with the idea I had. We have Stay and Scream for Halloween Horror Nights. Why don't we have, like, Swim and Scream, where you can spend the day at the water park and spend the night at Halloween Horror Nights?
Ooh. Or you can swim over to Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah, we're going to create a waterway so people can swim, and we're going to give them floaties and everything for people that can't swim. So there you go.
Surround.
Jack's the Doom.
You know it.
Yeah.
The not so lazy river.
Oh God.
Aquatic had a special after hours upcharge event this summer.
That's a lot.
I didn't hear a lot about it. I don't think it did very well. I just haven't heard a lot about it. And anytime there's anything that did, decently well, you see tons of stuff on social media about it. And I saw very little. But I would love to see Cabana, or I'd love to see Volcano Bay do some type of upcharge events at this place. Now, I do hope they have like a buffet. I do hope they have some cabanas you can rent, and I do hope they have special events that are specific to that. Right now, Wet n Wild, they do the Waves of Glory. It's the version of Night of the Universe or Rock the Universe. I would love to see something like that at Volcano Bay.
I don't think you're going to see that, but I think you're going to see a luau, much like what you hope. Because we had those 3 villages, and one of those could actually have like an Asian East Pacific style buffet.
Yeah.
And I'm actually very excited for this project due to, as Owen said, I think it's going to be a game changer in multiple aspects, and it's going to be something that we haven't thought about before, much like how I think we're going to be seeing Nintendo in that perspective. It's going to be big. It's going to be something that we haven't seen. I'm excited for it.
It's going to be expansive.
Can I hedge my bets on Nintendo?
Oh,
I think we will see a water ride for Nintendo. I think we'll see a water ride for Nintendo at Universal Studios Florida.
Unfortunately, I don't see that because of space.
Personally, I see a kind of Haunted Mansion kind of thing where they do Luigi's Mansion instead.
But, yeah, anyone else want to talk about Volcano Bay before we go to the big one?
I really think something about Volcano Bay that I think they're really going to, it's going to work for pass holders. I think they're going to do about the same thing that Disney does with like the add-ons for Magic Your Way tickets and doing the park hopper with Water Park and more. I think it's going to be something like that where you're going to be able to buy a ticket to get into Iowa, to get into studios, and also to get into Volcano Bay. And maybe they'll comp your parking or something just because you paid the money. I mean, anything's possible. They have that huge structure now they're working on.
Edward Pacific, yeah. But before we go on, I actually want to do a little moment of silence because we're about to hit a major batch of spoiler warning. So, 5 seconds, you've been warned.
3.
What's the spoiler about? You said spoiler warning, but about...
You have to put over what you're spoiling.
Yeah.
Well, no. We are going to be talking about now Halloween Horror Nights 2015 and Halloween Horror Nights 25, followed by a trivia. So...
Trivia's first.
Oh, well, let's see.
Hey, it's called Trivia Turnaround for a reason.
Well, okay, fine. Let's do the trivia.
Before we get into the whole trivia thing, what's up with this fire in Shanghai?
Yeah, that's... yeah, okay, so there was this fire that went on at Storybook Castle today.
Yeah, they're protesting Frozen.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's kind of the sad thing.
But yeah, I'm seeing this picture on Twitter of just smoke coming out of the freaking side of the castle.
Yeah, a small fire went out, but it was just quickly exterminated. I think it caused some damage on Sorba Castle, so it's going to cause a little delay on that. That being said, something to see, because that's still a work in progress theme park.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's going to look awesome, truthfully.
We'll have a different episode talking about Shanghai Disney in 50.
So Halloween Horror Nights.
Let's start.
Okay, we're going to go to trivia.
Right.
And we're doing good. We're only at 10:58.
Nah, yeah, we're doing fine.
We're in like infancy hours, sir.
Yeah, Travis, we're different here, man.
Don't jinx us, Owen.
Oh, dude, you know when I'm involved, it goes a long time.
Well, we can talk for hours probably about Halloween Horror Nights.
And I'm going to do that tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
Well, you know I will be watching.
Right on.
For the trivia, we're going to have teams of two now that Ken's actually here. And Ken, you're probably going to need to unmute your mic for this part. There are teams. The teams are Alex and Bryce.
Yay!
You guys can come up with the team name somehow, and Owen and Ken are a team.
Yay!
And the reason I did this is because Bryce and Ken really don't know as much as Alex and Owen do about Horror Nights, because I know Alex and Owen know a lot about Horror Nights.
Yeah, but I also have forgotten a lot of things, too.
Well,
That's why I said Owen and me.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys would have just ended up having a freaking conversation between yourselves, and me and Kim would be over here like,
Okay, well, we have 8 questions. And wait, first thing, Alex, are we doing the thing?
You do it.
I don't think, okay, I might be able to do it. I don't know.
Just do it.
Okay. Actually, I'm gonna need one of you two to do it, because I'll have to get off my phone call to do it.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm using my phone.
So, Price is Right tuba or something?
No. For the 5th question, Alex, you know what to do. Okay.
I don't like when I'm being set up. It's not fun.
I don't like
you're not being set up.
I don't even know.
We're just gonna...
So where's everybody's team names now? I wanna hear what your guys' team name is.
Team Jack Jack.
What?
Team Jack's Crack Shack.
Oh God! Well, what are we, a bowling team?
Wait, what is it?
The Jack's Sea Shack.
Okay.
Owen will get it because it's a little nod to our history on Popcast.
Oh God! Yeah, no lie.
Owen and Ken, what's your name?
And I'll leave this to you because I am the wolf at things like this.
Oh, I'm great at this. We're Project Ego. That's a nod to my old school tactics right there.
Okay, Alex, did you get my message on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm not going to do it.
Come on.
You do it.
I can't do it. I would have to take my headphones out, mute my call, and then go to it.
Oh, most heinous.
I'll just say it. It won't be as funny, but I'll just say it. Okay, so first question. We'll go to Owen's team. Project Ego.
Project Ego.
What was the first year Universal Studios Florida had Halloween event?
1991.
Okay. You got it right.
Sure.
I told you they start out easy and then they get kind of harder.
I suck at trivia sometimes, so sorry.
Next one goes to Alex and Bryce's team.
You don't even remember the team name, do you?
Jack's
Jack
Sea
C.
Shack.
Jack's Crack Shack.
Yes. Yes.
What was the name of Halloween Horror Nights before it was called Halloween Horror Nights?
Fright Nights.
Can you let me read?
Wait,
No.
So everything's multiple choice?
Yes, everything's multiple choice.
Okay, fair enough. So,
It's like Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Oh my god, yeah, it is. Just
wait,
to be...
okay, so what happened? I didn't hear you.
Okay. What was the name of Halloween Horror Nights before it became Halloween Horror Nights? Is it A, Uni-Evil Scary Nights, B, Universal Fright Nights, C,
Fright Nights.
House Scream, or D, it's always been HHN?
It's been Fright Nights until 1 or 2 years after the first one.
So what's your final answer?
Universal's Fright Nights.
You are correct.
Yeah, I'm just going to let Alex take care of this one.
Okay, Owen, this one is for your team, Project Ego.
Alright.
Okay, Bryce. In 1992, the event's t-shirt logo was very vague, just like this question. What was that design? A, a spooky jack-o'-lantern. B, a universal globe with ghosts around it. C, a chainsaw cutting through a pumpkin. Or D, a dead Mickey Mouse.
Do we have the ability to steal?
For these questions, yes, but for the first two, we weren't going to because they're so easy.
It was a chainsaw cutting through a pumpkin.
Yep.
Good job. Point to Project Ego.
Ken, if you know any questions, please let me know.
Okay.
I dug over the Horror Nights wiki.
I'm playing Candy Crush. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm talking to Ken.
I'm building my lecture for tomorrow.
Wait, Owen, you still play Candy Crush?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, what level are you on?
I get so bored, man. Seriously, I play all the games on Pogo and on Facebook. It's pretty much what I use it for other than networking.
Alright, next question.
For Jack's Sea Shack. Jack the Clown brought his sick and twisted circus of horror to HHN in 2000. Sorry. What was the slogan that year? A, Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, Jack will make you sick. B, first Jack the Ripper, then comes your worst nightmare. C, what the heck was that? C, there is a new name for terror, and it's Jack. Or D, not afraid of the dark, you don't know Jack.
Is it possible for a cross? Because I think it's C and D.
It's no.
Look. Because I
It's
know...
one.
Okay. Then I'm going to pick D.
Good job. You got it right.
Okay. Then that's tied.
God.
Yes, it's tied 2-2. And I'll think of a tiebreaker if we get to that point, but I don't think we're going to get to a tiebreaker.
I think we might.
Hey, HHN Trivia actually paid off with that app.
Even though some of the questions are wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them were wrong. That's why I stopped playing, but I think I'm going to start playing again this week. This is question 5. In 1995, Universal used an icon in a commercial. Who was it? Was it A? Let me say it, Owen.
Go ahead.
Was it A, Chucky? B, Jason Voorhees? I don't think I'll be able to get through this question.
Oh,
Was it C, the Crypt Keeper? Or D,
Yes! I swear to you, that meme follows me everywhere I go. Well, even though I did not personally see him on October 4th, I do know he was released into the Icon Scare Zone for the first time that night. That would be the Crypt Keeper.
Yep,
You
that's
got it
correct.
right.
I know it.
You gotta admit, I pulled that one.
No,
That
no, no,
was
yeah,
good.
you planned that goddamn thing, and I said no.
Well,
I
that
said
was
yes.
the podcast, guys. That's it. That's all I
If
wanted
you
to do.
listen, if you listen to the podcast, that's how it goes. On the Raw podcast, or on the pay-per-view podcast, NXT, we always bring up the John Cena sounder.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, next up is Jack's Sea Shack. I still don't understand that. You'll have to explain that to me later.
You know, and well, when this is over.
I'm down with that. That's fine.
Folks.
What year was the first Scare Zone introduced?
Wait, what was that question?
When was the first year a Scare Zone was used or introduced? Was it A, 10, B, 7, 4, which is C, or D, it's always been a thing?
Well, just kind of incorrect because are you counting Roman horns?
Mm-hmm.
It's always been there.
You're incorrect.
Was it 4?
Who said 4?
Bryce.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, you got a point for us.
All right.
Did you cheat, Bryce?
No. I have this. I have all the things I've studied on a note on a different page.
Okay, whatever. Okay, next up.
I technically know the answer, but I haven't studied enough to know it by heart.
Whatever. Next question for Project Ego. Owen, are you here?
I'm here. I'm just, like I said, I'm just playing Candy Crush.
Can't get over that name.
I am here too.
Okay, this is when we get to difficult questions.
Oh, God.
How many icons have there been, including side icons?
Oh, hold on. What do you, I need to know? I need a clarification. What do you consider side icons?
I will give you. I will give you examples. I will give you 2 examples. Okay.
Hold on. I'm writing down the ones I know. So give me a second.
You're
And no, John Cena is not one of them.
No, John, he will be someday. Mark my words.
Does that count icons that were once canceled?
No.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Chat.
Fright Nights.
Okay.
Kinda had. We didn't hear you.
Okay, continue.
Okay.
I think I've got my list down.
Yeah.
Okay. My examples for side icons are Freddy and Billy the Puppet. That's all I'm giving you.
Those don't really count.
Technically Freddy does count because of the...
No. Freddy's not an icon. If you want to talk about side icons, the things that would make sense to me would be like Chance, Eddie, and Cindy.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
That makes the most sense to me, at least.
Are you counting IPs?
I mean, if you want to count Carnival of Carnage for Freddy, Jason, and Leatherface, I get that because some people did consider that, but
yeah.
If you want to count that and rip from the silver screens, then okay, that's fine. But yeah, no.
So how many are you guessing?
I'm writing them down. Hold on. I think that's only fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh crap! I forgot about that one. I don't know if that. Okay, so we're not counting we're not counting 2012 then.
Yeah, we're not counting that.
They weren't icons technically, but I mean, some people might consider them something. So.
What are they?
They're roaming hordes. There was no icon. I mean, technically, if you wanted, some people could consider The Walking Dead an icon for 2013.
Not count that.
You're not counting that?
I counted people. I didn't count things.
What the hell is that?
Walking Dead doesn't count. Freddy and Jason did.
Wait, so could you mean the walker counts as an icon?
The walker is not an icon.
Okay, good. Then we're fine then.
Two reasons why the walker is not an icon. One, because it's dead, and two, because walking it sucks.
Well, here's the thing. The caretaker is dead as well, and he's still...
Caretaker is an icon because he had his own thing.
Caretaker's definitely an icon, and trust me, you'll see him sooner rather than later, so...
Yeah.
The little monsters that eat your eyelids count?
What?
Will the little monsters that eat your eyelids count?
Igor?
No, the little monsters, they have them eyelids in, like, what was it, 8?
Yeah, he's called Igor.
No.
That would be technically true, but I mean,
Yeah, actually, Owen is right, technically.
So, are we counting that or not?
No.
Okay. Then, my answer is 20.
What's your list?
I've got Lady Luck, Chucky, Wolfman, Billy the Puppet, Leatherface, Jason, Freddy, Storyteller, Jack the Clown, Cindy, Eddie, Chance, Crypt Keeper, Bloody Mary, Usher, Caretaker, Director, Oh, sorry. I hit the Usher twice. So that's 19 then. Fear, and there was for Roman numerals 14. There was a inmate that was basically the unofficial icon for the event. So there's, and then the last one would be the Terror Queen. So yeah, officially 20.
Yeah, little bits will go away.
It's coming back.
I'm going to give you a different question because I didn't read all into those extra ones like Sydney and Eddie.
Yeah, that's just too hard. That doesn't make sense, and it's too damn hard.
But my list was... Crap, I threw it, and then it just went away. My list was Crypt Keeper, Jack, Caretaker, Director, Storyteller, Freddy, Jason, Leatherface, Bloody Mary, Usher, Billy the Puppet, Wolfman, Chucky, Fear, and Lady Luck.
Yeah, you can't forget, like, I mean, if you're going to count side icons that really never were, but a lot of people still take, you have to count Eddie, you have to count Cindy, and to a lesser extent, even though I really think she needs to have a bigger presence at the event, you got to count Chance. You got to count the Terror Queen, and there's that patient from 14 that most people forget about.
Exactly.
Well, I'm going to give you the next question, and then we'll figure it out from there.
Sorry about that.
I'm still in my mind, so we're going to have to go somewhere.
I'm going to have to think now. Okay, next question. This one is for Project Ego.
Okay, got it.
I don't know how much you love Bill and Ted, so I should have done this one for you. There has been 2 years that Bill and Ted have crossed over and met another character, as in it wasn't called Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure.
I know that.
2 years.
Okay, so it is... Crap.
I know.
So we're talking Hellboy. We're talking Hellboy and Time Cop, right?
Good job. I should give you points for that.
2008.
When
was Time Cop? I think it's Time Cop is 94, and I think Hellboy should be 2008.
Yeah, it's 2008.
Owen, you're right.
Yes.
That was the question I thought I was going to have to use as the tiebreaker.
Stations.
I thought that was going to stump you. Jeez. You know what? Owen, you might be the one that kills trivia.
No, I truly suck because the problem is with HHN trivia, there was those Walking Dead questions and it totally just killed me.
Well, you forgot about me, too, so just... I have no.
And if you get this right, then we'll think of a tiebreaker. I'm trying to think of another question right now. I should have prepared more questions.
Oh, by the way, we've hit the hour mark.
What attraction queues have houses not been in?
Thank you.
What do you mean?
It literally is what the question says. What attraction queues have rides not, or what attraction queues have houses not been in? Or you would have to walk somewhat through the queue to get into the house.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be a valid question for me. Because that's kind of hard to say, considering, that's what attractions are open during Horror Nights. Whatnot.
Yeah.
Going to help.
I was gonna do one that how many different shows there were, but there were too dang many in the beginning. So it's
There's too many.
Yeah, the first one had like 65 of them.
You mean 59?
Oh,
Most
here's
excellent.
it's kind of easy, but I don't really care. I don't think anyone cares anymore because Joe basically dead thanks to Owen. What was the first Halloween Horror Nights house called?
Dungeon of Terror.
Good job. Who said that? That was Alex, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
love the sign on the Carnage Returns set too.
Yep.
Now we have to do a tiebreaker.
Oh God.
Y'all rock, paper, scissors.
That's
have to do it
impossible.
Well, we can do a webcam.
That's not. I don't think so, Tim.
Oh.
You all can do it on Twitter.
Call it truce.
I'll think of something while we're talking about HHN.
Now I want to finish it now so we don't have to worry about it.
I got no worries that we can say that we're even and we move on to 25.
Yeah, and
Wait. Who's the best WWE fighter in the world?
Dwayne Rock Johnson.
He's not in the WWE right now.
Well, you know what I mean.
Dwayne
Either
Rock.
past or present.
Thank you.
Well, you gotta at least count either past or present.
No, I'm talking about ever.
That
It's
is a
John,
cheap question.
the answer is John Cena.
Well, you gotta at least smell what The Rock is cooking before you finish it.
But you can't. So we just got HHN.
Yes.
Yeah, let's just do it before Dwayne Rock Johnson from Disaster kills us all.
Throwing that grenade behind.
With Mother Nature probably on all this.
Speaking of disaster, earlier today, Bryce and I were doing the queue and Ken was sleeping.
Because you confused me with the time. I asked you AM or PM, and you said PM. And you're like, oh, it's both.
I did a podcast till 4 a.m. How am I going to get up that early?
Yeah, I was literally up till 7 a.m. editing my podcast.
Oh, bloody hell.
Anyway, we talked about what we did for that Coaster Hall of Fame, and we did all that, and that's up on YouTube right now. But I figured out something, or I thought of something. I'm doing because we're let me start over. Every 6 months to a year, we're gonna induct a new ride / dark ride / theme, not theme park
Joe.
/ you know what I'm talking about. We're gonna induct one more into it, and then I'm going to induct one of my favorites in because, well, it's my thing. But this time, I brought in Disaster because of
With
it's
Blaine Cowhead.
and long live Frankencade.
Disaster or earthquake?
Disaster.
Oh, I judge you.
Don't judge me. I didn't get to ride Earthquake.
Oh, Earthquake was great.
It was.
Disaster, but good.
I only got to experience the Hollywood one, so you gotta keep that in mind.
I didn't get to ride Earthquake because I didn't go to Universal until 2010. So
I didn't go to Islands until 2010, but I've been going to Universal since 1990.
yeah, my first time going to Universal was 2010. So
But, yeah.
it'd be cool if whenever it was 2010, Owen and I were in line for Jurassic Park or something like that. We didn't even know it, and now we're here.
It's possible. I was there, so you never know.
Yeah,
I was there for Potter, so
I wasn't there for Potter.
I came for Hogsmeade's opening, so.
So,
That's been cool.
before we
Yeah.
go total shit show what it could be, let's start talking about Halloween Horror Nights, because Owen was there, though.
Oh, God.
Yeah, let's start off with Owen. let's start with the. What do you want to start with? The scare zones, houses, or shows?
Oh God, this is kind of like this is giving you guys a preview what I'm going to be talking about on the podcast tomorrow. We'll start with scare zones.
Okay.
All right, now we're gonna. Then I guess it's best to start off with the front scare zones, and that is Scary Tales, Scream Punk, and Icons HHN.
So does anybody else have an opinion on this as well, or am I the only one that got a chance to go this year so far?
I do have my opinions about Icons HHN and Scary Tales a little bit too, but I'll let you start.
Okay.
All through watching YouTube videos and Jim and Jen and Kyle from View from Cheap Seats. But I've been watching all of them just to see if they show anything. If they've shown all of them, I have my own opinions on them videos.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
All right. We can start with someone else. That's not a problem. I'll go.
Yeah, started with Travis.
Okay. Which one are we talking about first? Icons or Scary Tales?
We'll start on Icons, the best, and then we'll go from there to like the worst.
Okay. Well, for me, the best is Icons. It's Psychoscarapy.
Okay.
But we can start with Icons. Icons, I believe, is or could be the best scare zone, but it's not. For me, from what I've seen, it's not what it could be. I think it's because I really haven't gotten or seen any of the killings on YouTube videos yet, so that might have to deal with it. But I like the idea of it because I haven't really been around the Halloween Horror Nights community enough to know who Caretaker is and what he does, and director, and all that stuff. So I recently knew with all of it, and I think it's a solid 7, maybe a 7.5 out of 10. It's cool. I like seeing Lady Luck. She's awesome.
You're one of those fans, aren't you?
Lady Luck and Rat Lady. Rat Lady gives me a crease because I know that's a real person in there, and I know there's a real rat. I just want to know how she feels about that.
But if you watch like Halloween Horror Nights 12, The Art of the Scare, it actually kind of gives a little insight to it as well. So we'll send it a little bit in the show notes for you all to look at if we can find it. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. My thoughts on Icons HN. I think it's the best photo op scare zone they've had so far out of the batch. And last year, Face Off was actually pretty good with the makeup and the scare actors from what I saw.
I only saw one cast of Face Off.
That's sad. Face Off, what Halloween Horror Nights Icons has, I actually gotta admit, it is the best of those. But it's not about its flaws and it's not about its problems. I do think it's at least higher than one scare zone in particular we'll mention last. But yeah, I think if I was to give it a rating, I'd probably give it like an 8.5. It's a really good scare zone. And it leads to one of the best shows in the event.
Oh, totally.
But Owen?
Icons HHN was my number 1 and has remained my number 1. The problem I have with it is there's chainsaw congestion.
Yeah, that's what I look at too.
And giving Cindy a chainsaw is hilarious, but it makes no sense at all. The kills are not... The problem with the kills, they're done very well. You're basically getting a refresher course on exactly how they all became icons. The 4 kills work really well.
That's why I loved it, because I'm pretty sure someone has a video of all the killings somewhere.
I do.
What was it?
I do.
Now,
Seriously?
that being said,
Is it posted?
What is your favorite icon kill?
Of course it's posted.
I didn't see that.
The director's the longest. The director is a little bit more than 5 minutes, but everything else is like super short.
I like Caretaker's the best.
Caretaker's is good, but it's really short.
I actually love the Usher. If I was to pick one, I'd actually say the Usher.
Really?
Yes.
It's really basic, but it works.
Yes, and that's what the usher is. It's basic, but it works. It's not supposed to be, oh, look, I'm this big complex. I'm just like, I will not let you mistreat my theater like that, and I will take rational force.
And
Trust me, I know all about this.
Have a skills.
Yeah, I would give the Scare Zone like an 8.5 or something.
The another problem with it is they really haven't got it down yet. That's the only problem I have with it. They really haven't got it down yet. Now I will say it's not the photo op that it could have been. It still is, but I think there's one that's head and shoulders above it when it comes to a photo opportunity.
Yeah.
Maybe not for long, but at least for now, yes.
We'll talk about that in a few minutes, but
yeah.
We are going to talk about Evil's Root, and then we're going to go to Diane. I gotta give credit. Evil's Root actually doesn't look half bad.
It's overshadowed by Carnage Returns.
I pulled a lot of good about Evil's Root. Well, Evil Roots. Like, I pulled nothing but good about that.
Oh, it's an awesome Scare Zone. It's just way too congested in there.
Yeah, that's my main criticism. It's just, it looks too congested, but it looks like an awesome Scare Zone for what it's worth. Very much akin to the classic Horror Nights.
Yeah.
I will say, I watched in Kyle's video.
Bushman MVP!
What?
Bushman MVP.
Bushman, yeah. He scares him every freaking time.
I would actually give that a higher rating than Icons. I love that Scare Zone.
I'd give it a 7 as well.
I think I'd give it like a 8.6. It's really good. Better than I expected. But yeah, Owen?
Right now it's my number 4.
Really?
I've not been able to spend nearly as much time in there, and it is kind of distracting. I love the way that they set up the barricades and everything, so there's people that are corralled in to watch the Carnage Returns, and you can still get back to the back end of the park when the show's going on. But it's weird because with the ambient music and everything, it does work, but like I said, it's way too much congestion, and I really think that using Central Park as a Scare Zone is probably something they should sort of somewhat phase out, because it is
Springfield.
I love what they did with Springfield this year. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
We'll talk about that.
I consider that a Scare Zone.
It's a roaming horde, so I mean, I guess you could somewhat say that. I mean, if you really want to get technical, but
yeah. Ken, you have anything else to say?
I honestly have seen nothing about Halloween Horror Nights, and I don't know if I'm just growing out of it, if I'm just not as interested as I used to be. But this year, I haven't been feeling it. I don't know what it is. Like, I honestly haven't been feeling Halloween this year. So maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just not. Maybe I'm just in the funk this year. Because usually it's the highlight of my year.
Might be Hollow Scream, it is.
I don't know why. I don't know why I am not in the mood this year. But yeah, and honestly, like, not to knock the topic, I'm kind of Halloween Horror Nights, like, I'm kind of burnt out at this point. It seems like everyone and their mothers, like, raided the houses.
But here's the thing, people can say that also about Hollow Scream. People can say that also about other events.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Halloween Horror Nights, like, it's the biggest event of the year, and so everyone's focused on it. It's the biggest Halloween event. And
it is. It's gotten the golden ticket how many years?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's no question that this is the #1 Halloween event in the nation. There's no question about that. But
it's also the longest, like the second longest Halloween event in the nation.
Well, there's people up there in
if you want to say something that's unfortunately longer than...
I mean, there's been something up in Massachusetts that's been happening for a while.
Because I'm kind of surprised no one else gives shit about Not Scary Farm, because that's basically what Halloween Horror Nights Orlando is, but without the IPs, and it just it's been here for like 43 years, longer than that. So
Knott's is more like Howl-O-Scream than it is Horror Nights, but it's got the budget of it's got more of a budget than Howl-O-Scream does too.
yeah, it's like a.
Yeah, I'm really curious about Howl-O-Scream this year because they have the new guy in there, the guy from Blair Witch Project. And I'm really curious to see with the new director, with the a new person over it. I'm curious to see what that has changed about the event.
But yeah, let's talk about the Roman horrors because that kind of ranged from chainsaw prisoners to what people have been raving, the killer clowns at Springfield.
I love the killer clowns at Springfield. I love them. I love them. I love them.
Honestly, I've heard nothing about this, so tell me about this, because I don't know about this yet.
Owen?
Okay, so I'm walking around into Springfield on preview night, and sure enough, sometimes during preview night they do things that don't make it to opening night. I get that 100%. There's a lot of things that were done in preview that you did not see opening night. But the thing about it is I'm walking around Springfield, and sure enough, I see a clown, and I was thinking, are they actually going to do it this year? And then I thought they were just going to walk to another destination, and then they rev the chainsaw, and I'm like, oh my god, they actually are going to put chainsaws in Springfield this year. This is brilliant. And it's been consistently great. Like, the hordes this year have been awesome when it comes to the chainsaws. And one major thing that they started doing, that I started seeing them doing last week, was the fact that they would get in a big circle right in front of the gardens.
That was actually also the second week, too, and that the clowns like all had this chant and then just like kill them all, and then the chainsaws just went.
They revved their chainsaws and all of the entire group just bum rushed anybody that was around. It was an awesome visual to see, and I've seen so many people run like screaming into the other end of the park. I remember seeing a chainsaw actually chase a girl in a circle until she fell down.
That's terrible.
It's been really good people watching the chainsaws this year, honestly. But I will say that the chainsaw is oversaturation this year. They really have way too many. Even though I love it, I still think there's way too many.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't the music in Springfield be a dead giveaway to you?
They were using backwards music in Springfield, and they also used a lot of the Treehouse of Horror soundtrack in Springfield during Horror Nights this year.
It's freaking cool.
And
It
the
is
funny
really
thing
cool.
about Hollywood streams straight up Treehouse of Horror.
Maybe a Treehouse of Horror house next year.
It won't be next year, but I mean, if they can ever get their ducks in a row, maybe. But I think it's going to be something really hard to pull off at this point. You'll see an overlay for The Simpsons before you actually see Treehouse of Horror and Horror Nights.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't have more, like, with all of these screens, why can't you make these attractions,
Budget.
you just update them to make them
The
relevant?
budget of the animation, that's the problem. And the profiling.
You got to take these rides down for who knows how long to get stuff done, and then some of the stuff can be done overnight, but they just don't want to do it. Or they just can't do it in some cases.
And the unfortunate thing is that even though that happens, the one that can get away is like Haunted Mansion Holiday, California. It's still the classic Haunted Mansion with new improvements.
It's so awesome. I really wish we had Haunted Mansion Holiday here, but it'll never happen.
Oh.
And that's where I kind of agree that it does have its problems on budget and it has its problems on length of refurb.
Trust me, next year or the year after, I will be making a trip to Disneyland during the holidays, and I will ride Haunted Mansion Holiday, finally.
It's awesome.
It
It
makes
is.
me so mad.
It's
Like,
the one experience that I would want to go on again and again and again.
well, here's the thing. Ever since I was little, I've always loved Nightmare Before Christmas, and it's for two reasons. One,
Oh, and by the way, happy 22nd birthday to the film.
seriously,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
22 years. Holy crap.
Did you know that Jack and Sally were actually meeting people at Mickey's Not So Scary last year?
All that.
That picture's available on my Facebook somewhere.
But there's two reasons why I really love the movie. It's one, because it's just the music in it is phenomenal. Danny Elfman is amazing. A god, yeah, basically. And he's a Disney legend now. So that's amazing. And because my sister hated the movie so much, so whenever Halloween came around, we watched it constantly to make her go away. So
You'll get your chance to pick the shit out of her again with Ghost Galaxy.
it's not like she hates the movie, because she loves the movie. It's just she hates Oogie Boogie. So for Christmas last year, I bought her an Oogie Boogie ornament.
Oogie Boogie's a big part of the shows at Not So Scary.
But yeah, back to the topic of scare zones. No scare zone in London Waterfront due to obvious reasons, but there was a scare zone over at San Francisco, which was All Night Die-In Double Take.
Double feature.
Double feature.
Double feature. Just, I kind of got that mixed up.
It's okay. All Night Die-In double feature. Is that right?
And
Yes.
before we go on, there has been reports more or less with, that's fine. There have been reports more recently throughout this last weekend that Freddy and Jason are not in the scare zone anymore. So that may have been because of congestion.
It's become a real big problem because they weren't there for the first 2 weeks, and they show up on Thursday night of third week, and we see them, and immediately it becomes selfie central.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem in Die-In this year. That is a huge problem in Die-In. All they're doing is taking pictures, and it's one of those things that I'll give it up to the characters, because I've seen them take a picture and then scare that person or scare someone beside them right after they took the picture. And there's been some really awesome interactions with the guests, but when it comes down to it, it's bad this year. But those casts are so awesome.
Props to Carrie.
I don't know if you saw this, but Ken just posted something on here that said he might have to go soon. So if you
Yeah, that's fine. If you have to leave, then I do. But
I do have a question before I go, though. So I have been to Universal during the daytime, so I have seen some of the daytime props they leave. I am a little confused because Mel's always says Die-In. Then they have this Die-In scale zone that's across the park. That confuses me.
now it's been a Hornets tradition ever since the beginning.
yeah.
Change the name of the scale zone.
No, okay, here's the thing. I can shed some light on this. This is real simple. The Carnage Returns this year. The Carnage Returns, there was, I mean, this has never been proven, obviously, but there's all those rumors that were around stating that, where was it going to be? They were wondering if it was going to be in Beetlejuice because Rocky Horror wasn't coming back this year, even though it's an anniversary year when it makes the most sense to come back. Still, Beetlejuice sits dormant. And you don't have any, you're not routing people back there, still using the same queue for Disaster and everything. So, I mean, that's good, grand, and wonderful. But it makes sense to me that the original location for the Scare Zone would have been in Hollywood instead. But that's the problem, because that would have been overlapping the Icon Scare Zone. So you would not be able to put anything there. I mean, you could put it on South Street, but that makes no sense because most people don't even use South Street. And now basically it's the queue for Asylum in Wonderland, so that eliminates that as an option.
If they overlapped All Night Die-In and Icons, that would have been selfie central.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
I just think that they should have just changed the name of the scale zone. I mean, you could
Well, here's the thing. That was also the name of the
Carry Drive-In.
It's paying homage to the All Night Die-In houses, and the Horrorwood Drive-In too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's an amalgamation of both, is pretty much what it is. And Horrorwood basically had the film clips with all the monsters and everything, and you'll see a lot of the same creatures and a lot of the same characters that are in both scare zones if you look back.
But the difference was that it wasn't exactly a color and black and white. It was just straight up black and white for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, I am sorry. I'm not really contributing anything anyways, but I do have to head out because I have to get some stuff done before I hit the bed. And
All right.
Sleep here soon. So I have to figure out the rest of this TV because there's a bunch of wires on my bed.
That's fine.
Yeah,
You guys later. Thanks for having me on. And I'm sorry I was late.
By the way, before you leave, where can we find you on your social media?
You can find me at KL Story. And we had Eric Davis on the Orlando Toastmate Pod this week. So, 3-hour-long podcast. So, it was a marathon one.
All right, we'll see you next week on the CoasterCast.
Yep. Talk to you later.
Thanks, Ken.
Have a good night.
Night.
Yeah, and sorry guys, but same with me. I'm not really contributing to anything, and I've got some work to do, and I gotta get up in the morning early. So I will
play Destiny.
No. So I will see you guys later.
In the queue and the next episode.
Yeah. Do you want to promote?
Wait, where can we find you on your social media?
Yeah.
I'm at BD Messy. So you can find me on
Kid
Twitter.
art.
And that's about it.
Follow.
Yeah. So talk to you guys later. Travis, I'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.
And now we come to the Mexican standoff.
Then there were 3.
Yes, yeah, what were we talking about? The horror with Diane?
Yeah, we're talking about Non-Night Diane right now.
But yeah, that's the worst scare zone. Like, that's the second worst scare zone of them all because it is a selfie photo op.
No, I disagree completely. That is an awesome scare zone.
Well, no, not exactly what I meant, but yes, it is awesome, but it isn't exactly...
What the heck is that?
Sorry.
The interactivity with those characters, both black and white and the contemporary cast, is outstanding this year.
I should have said that differently. It's just like when Fred and Jason were there, it was not exactly the best of the scare zones. But now with Fred and Jason gone, with the classic monsters and the color cast just there, that's actually a really nice scare zone, and I do love it. But really, once again, shout out to the scare zone actress who did Carrie.
Yes, 100%.
She looks just like the Jen track.
You're not the only one that has said that, and Jen has heard that a bunch of times. So
I know. I've tweeted it to her, I think, twice.
But yeah,
she's aware. Trust me.
I know she's aware. She took a picture with her.
I don't think it's the best scare zone out of them all, but it does have some really great elements to it.
I think it has the potential to be. Well, all of them have the potential to be.
Not all of them, per se.
Not all.
Well, yeah, there's one, for me at least, that's just god-awful.
I think you're for that one.
I wouldn't say god-awful, but I would say that it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
I hope we're talking about the same one, because if we're
We'll
not
talk about that after the next one. Yes, now the next one we are talking about is a...
I said about Diane.
Oh, go on.
All I want to say about Diane, it's a great scare zone. I love it. I wish I could be there to see it because it's basically, well, what's going on? It's basically just like what Icons is to me. It's basically going back in time to the classic monsters and seeing what Fright Nights was with all those classic monsters and then bringing in the contemporary cast. And there's Purge people there, and there's Carrie, other horror people like Chucky. Chucky's there. But I think it's great. For me, I would give it a 9.5 out of 10. And that's just without Freddy vs. Jason in there. With Freddy vs. Jason, I'd give it...
The thing about that scare zone, and you have to notice it too, is your timing has to be impeccable. Because sometimes, because I've done run a time or two, so when it comes down to it, it's kind of like I go into the scare zone a lot. And I really, really like the black and white cast. I like the black and white cast a lot because they're very interactive. Like Victor Frankenstein's very interactive, and like
I forgot about him.
The Invisible Man is really interactive. I mean, Dracula's Brides. I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff in that scare zone when it comes to the black and white cast.
Wouldn't Invisible Man just pass through you?
He was following us the other night. It was hilarious. And my friend was completely oblivious too.
I was
So
I was watching one of Tim's videos where he's doing the backstage tour with Jones Family Travel thing or whatever. I can't remember which episode it was, but Frankenstein was standing right behind one of the people and scared the crap out of him. Like he was oblivious for like 10 minutes.
it's the contemporary cast though. I mean, Carrie absolutely stellar. Chucky and Tiffany are great because they'll just show up out of nowhere and bam, you're in. Because like Tiffany's ran into me a bunch of times, and it's funny. We came out of run and there was a purger and there was the strangers that were waiting for us when we were walking out. That was really well done. And I love the music. The music loop is great because you hear like Tubular Bells and you hear Hello Zepp, and I mean like everything like that you're expecting to hear is there, and it's awesome because I love how the movies are being projected on that dilapidated screen. It just adds to the ambiance of the actual scare zone.
Yep.
So, yep, and now we go from Cary, Ohio to the streets of New York, well, Cary, with Psycho Scare Be Unleashed, which is actually my favorite scare zone out of this year's scare.
I love it.
This scare zone is really good, really chaotic. It's everything about the Purge and so much more.
What?
There's a lot of interactive elements to it, too.
There's a lot of interactivity, and especially with the sets, and it's done really well. And even if there's inclement weather, they're still on top of it. And there's a lot of really great actors in this maze for sure.
I see the victims as well. That's just they convey the character that they play.
I mean, this is a great scare zone, and it deserves to be like in the upper echelon of scare zones, especially when it comes to New York. New York is all about chaos, and I think that this really does it well.
By the way, what do we think about that giant ass gazebo that goes on fire?
I love it.
I've seen it explode, and it's really fun to watch all the inmates like run away like the walkers a couple years ago.
Really?
That's cool.
I remember seeing it on preview night, and I was like, wow, I didn't know the flames would go that high. That's really awesome.
Does it really get to 10 foot?
If it's not 10 foot, I mean, it does go super high in the air.
That's cool. Because I heard that they said that it was going to go 10 foot up in the air.
Yeah.
It's definitely pretty high up there when it hits, and it's a great photo opportunity when it happens.
What's your favorite interactive element? Do you like the victims? Do you like the head carving? Do you like the bobbing for apples? Or do you like the costume contest?
I have the costume contest.
The problem with the costume contest is that it's one of those things that's like spur of the moment, and you never know when it's coming, which is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. I've honestly only saw the costume contest on preview night, and I saw it out of the corner of my eye 2 weeks ago when we were walking into Body Collectors. But I really haven't got a chance to see it as much as I would like to. But just the characters, like their interactivity with the guests is just stellar this year.
I watched the Tim Tracker video of the daytime.
Yeah.
I really love the victims.
Oh, yeah.
And that's weird to say, but if I was to pick besides the victims, it'd be the head carving.
That's cool, and it works really well too.
Especially for the actor who does that.
Yeah, he's always on point at all times too. I like that about
Is
it.
that fun? I thought you just said damn pun. Well, the on point.
Yeah, it's some really great. There's a lot of great people in the streets this year for sure, in every single scare zone.
I think I'd give it a 9.5.
I'm giving it a 10.
I haven't spent enough time in there. That's the problem. I'm usually running through Psychoscarpy to get to the houses.
Are you going to try to commit to that the next time you go?
I'm going to look into it because I really haven't got a chance. I've interacted with a bunch of people, but I really haven't had a chance to fully immerse myself in the scare zones this year.
All right.
From what I've seen in videos, I'm giving it a 10. It's my favorite my favorite scare zone.
Before we go on, do we all want to say anything about this last scare zone?
I don't like it at all. I think it needs to go away very quickly.
There's a
Sorry.
reason I'm not saying anything right now.
Yeah, there's a reason why I'm trying not to say anything about it, because it would involve a lot of inappropriate innuendos.
No, it involves a lot of personal things that I'm not just comfortable talking about on the internet.
And that's fine too, but it's just like fairy tales.
It's just, ugh.
They could have gone with the Path of the Wicked. They could have gone with something more elaborate.
Flying monkeys are badly missed here. If they could have worked that out, that would have been a great.
The name tag would have had that influence to have the flying monkeys, for Christ's sake.
Maybe it just didn't work, like, logistically.
Maybe. Well, where do the monkeys fly? Because are they above the sound stages?
I would say so. I had not had a chance to see actual footage of it because obviously footage from any like early year is few and far between.
If that's the case, then they could have done it.
All I have to say about Scary Tales is, gosh, why?
Okay.
It's a real missed opportunity.
It is.
Okay, I will say this. Obviously, for personal reasons, it's not one of my favorite scare zones. But beside that, I will say that there's a lot of really awesome interactivity in this one as well. As a matter of fact,
I will agree with that. There's a really great amount of interactivity, especially with Pinocchio.
Pinocchio, it feels like he's drunk, and it's hilarious. And he would always go after me too. It's like I'm trying to walk, and he basically is like boo, and I was like, hey, what's up?
It's like, hey girl, hey, what's up?
There's some again, just like in every scare zone this year, there's some really attractive ladies in there, but the problem with it is when it comes down to it, I don't really see much steampunk.
Yeah, is it with the costume design? Is it with the base technique?
I can see it with the costume design. They look really hipsterish.
The music is spot on, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the music is great for what it is, but just that isn't what
the whole park is great this year.
Oh, mm-hmm.
I'll give Masquerade this. It does a lot better if it's intention than Scary Tales.
Masquerade's playing in the park, like, periodically.
This year?
Yeah, they're playing a lot of music from the previous scare zones in the park this year in general.
By the way, there's one song in particular, Brothers in Arms from Mad Max, and that's actually a Park Ride song.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, that's very interesting.
It's a decent. I mean, it's a good like scare. I can't really call it a photo opportunity because they're always on top of you, so it's kind of like you really can't do much with that. But I mean, you can get some good shots there. But if you get the interactivity, I mean, if you get to catch like some of like the mini shows that are not really promoted at all, I mean, it's not talking about Scary Tales, but when it comes down to it, we were watching a cast change, and there was this character that was actually grabbing another character by the hair and like telling them to get back in the back.
That's
really awesome. Really awesome this year. I mean, everybody is really going all out, and you can really tell they put a lot of money into the streets this year.
Yeah, I would hope that they would because it's 25th.
Yeah, Scary Tales looks good, and there's a lot of really capable characters in the scare zone. It's just something's definitely missing, and I really hope when I go back in a couple weeks that they have finally got that down so I can see a different version of what I saw a week ago.
Before we get to Sweet Mother Load, we're going to talk about the two shows.
Oh, God.
Spoilers, once again, are imminent, so let's keep that in mind.
Oh,
you talking about spoilers are imminent?
Spoilers.
Yes.
Nope, I'm not going to spoil anything.
Then do we want to spoil?
For me at least, I don't know anything about Bill and Ted because I haven't watched anything on Bill and Ted.
We'll talk off camera.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil Bill and Ted this year because there's too many cool things.
I'll write it down. I don't mind you spoiling it off camera, for me at least, but I don't want
to talk about the Carnage Returns because that is, without question, the best Halloween Horror Night show of all time.
Exactly.
Oh, it's absolutely stellar, and it goes down to the cast.
It's all over the internet, so if you want to watch it, you can go to attractions or.
We'll put it in the show notes, ladies and gentlemen.
Or me. I
Or
have two videos up right now.
Exactly.
And you're probably going to have 2 more.
I'm probably going to link like 15 Carnage Returns videos in the show notes and say pick which one, but you need to pick these 2, and it's Owen's.
The theme park references are great, like the Robosaurus or the Time Warp.
Again?
But my absolute favorite throughout the past events so far, and this touches for a little bit because this is the Hornets community. Let's do the good old Hate the Fly. It's like
I still haven't watched the video.
It's really great to see like that level of interaction between the community, go for the actor, try and do an improv bit like that. Just it's weird.
I would love to be like that over to be able to get name dropped in Carnage or more appropriately Bill and Ted, but
Yeah.
Well, where are we gonna find Chris Pratt, a catapult, and 2 dogs eating spaghetti?
I don't know.
I mean, we can get the 2 dogs with the spaghetti, but Chris Pratt and the catapult are really hard.
That's funny. It really is.
But the tricks that are used for the show are really great, especially like one that I'm having a really hard time trying to figure out, but with Amanda, which, by the way, aren't as like, creative. I love you, and I bet you love to make that joke. Yeah, it's great that they had that Walking Dead joke, and it's just like,
Yeah.
That script is constantly evolving, and that's what makes it so great. Is because the gentlemen that are involved with Jack the Clown this year, they definitely know what they're doing when it comes to improv. So,
exactly. And Chance, and yes, Owen, I did that on purpose.
yeah.
Can we please talk an hour about Chance?
I'm telling you, I think they're missing an opportunity to make Chance a real icon. I thought that it would be a great idea to do the Mad Love storyline with Jack and have Chance be the one that was the brains behind everything all along, and we found out that she's not just a pretty face.
Well, she's a pretty face.
I still think she does have that, but she's the Harley Quinn of the Hornets universe.
Well, yeah, that's a big duh right there.
She's wearing red and black.
Harley Quinn does have her elements of actually being really freaking smart.
That's the reason I think that they're going to jump on that eventually when they finally give her a real backstory.
Whenever because I'm have a feeling we're going to get a Jack and Eddie event very much sooner than later, even more than the Caretaker, actually.
I don't know about that.
I think we are going to get that chance.
I had that as an option this year, but I mean, they didn't go with it. But then again, I'm not in A&D, so they wouldn't. But it was a good idea, honestly. I thought it was a great idea.
If you do a Jack versus Eddie event, that actually opens up the possibility of being like, could Chance be the one playing them both? And that would actually be really interesting to watch.
No, you bring Jill in and you put Jill with Eddie.
Ooh.
Because no one knows much about Jill because she never was realized as anything in the event.
No one really knows about Eddie. Even with Hostile Territory, there's no real backstory about Eddie. Besides him being Jack's brother and...
Eddie's got a great backstory. They just did away with it because of 9/11.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if they try to bring that back a little bit with having Jack be in the forefront with Eddie, that could actually really bring some great marketing, much like this year.
Yeah, especially if you want to push it into a more extreme version of the event.
One side being Eddie, one side being Jack, it really would work.
Well, that would be a good thing for a two-park event, but that's also something I'm not necessarily seeing is coming anytime soon.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah?
I said that last week.
Yeah, I know. And I said that before you, even then.
I seriously would love to see a 2-park with Jack and Eddie. I really would.
I do agree with Owen, though, that we're not going to see a 2-park event until, like 30.
I mean, they're going to do everything they can to keep it in the studios.
Yeah.
They will have to make that move.
They will. It'll get too overcrowded.
There'll be ways around that, trust me.
But, yeah, besides that, let's quickly go over the houses because we are now over the 2-hour mark.
Bill and Ted's great this year, guys. Check it out.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, no, we're about the hour-and-a-half mark, but we're really... But, yeah, let's talk about the houses now. I have seen a POV of 25 years.
Nice.
I've seen one.
Before anyone says it, we all gotta appreciate the one actor, the one man of them all.
Bear.
Bear's actually in my shout-outs at the end of the show.
I'll tell you right now a little pro tip. If you chant Bear, he may do a dance for you. Not always, but it does happen occasionally.
So if you just if you didn't know where it was, you just knew about the bear. If you just chanted through the entire thing, bear, 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 you eventually start dancing.
Well, he's in the third room, so I mean, technically, you don't really have a long time to wait for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bear has danced before. Don't know if Bear will dance again. We'll just put it that way.
Well, apparently Bear wasn't there this weekend.
Bear had an issue with his costume, from what I was told.
And there's one more thing I want to talk about at the end of the whole thing with dealing with us last weekend of Horror Nights.
Okay.
And I bet we all know what it is with the long lines. And
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
yeah, we'll talk about that after we talk about all the houses.
There's a lot of nostalgia with 25 years, and Owen will talk about this a lot more in tomorrow's podcast, so you gotta check there. But it is one of the kind. We had so many mediums of Horror Nights.
I loved it. From what I've seen and what I've heard, it's great.
I mean, the Phantom.
Yeah, that's one of the Universal Classic Monsters part of Monsters and Mayhem is one of my absolute favorite parts of the entire maze.
And that was the part that people were really nervous about. And I do agree with them that having the class of monsters in the house was just like kind of worrisome, but I love it.
Yeah, it's done very, very well.
But, well, at least they have the Jack masks now.
Yeah, it took almost 3 weeks for it to happen, though.
Yeah, which really seems odd.
Yeah, it was really weird because they all look like Crazy Steve from TNA. I'm not even kidding. That's exactly what I thought. I walked through on the second week, and one of my runs, I was like, he's like, Jack, and he laughs, and next thing you know, I was like, dude, you look like Crazy Steve.
I would have said, yo, what up, Steve?
I didn't think about it that fast. I should have. I will shout out Gothic. Gothic's a really awesome room. I'll shout out Nightingales, The Forsaken.
Nightingales.
Wasn't there HHN Blankets?
No.
Wait, no, I thought there was.
Common misconception. That is Psychoscarapy Home for the Holidays.
Really? Because that was who was. I think that was said.
Yeah, Blood and Guts.
Blood and Guts?
Not that. I mean, if that base, it's either one of two things. It's either A, it is an ode to all the Christmas-related houses we've had in the past or rooms we've had in the past, or it's just simply Psychoscarapy Home for the Holidays. Because as my friend Tyler would say, when it comes down to it, it does not feel like HR Blood and Guts at all. Because there's no HR Blood and Guts like there. Like there's no Larry Kurtzberg on the monitor or anything. It's just a literal tiny hallway where you walk through and you hear Christmas in Hollis, and you have a chainsaw Santa on one side and you have an elf on the other side, and you're basically walking through like red and green like I can't say wallpaper, but I mean, yeah.
That'd be really sad. But
Like, okay, like a butcher, basically. Like, when you go in the back of a butcher's, you have, like, that type of what you have to walk through. That's pretty much what it is.
Speaking of butchers, there was a little thing when you exited the house.
I don't want to. Don't give that away.
Oh, no. It has been seen in videos, though, from a lot.
It's so cool. It's one of those things I said in my review, and I'll say it again. It's like it ain't over till it's over. And I was walking through on one of my last runs last week, and there were a group of preteen girls in front of me that were just, they literally held on to each other the whole maze, and they pretty much like blocked my path. So I just stood back and I watched, and I ran into one of the ops, and I was like, I'm getting a free show here. This is amazing. So they got ready to leave. They got through the final room, and they went through the black curtains, and they're going to exit the house. And I'm like, I know exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to film this. So I did, and I filmed the reaction that they had when they got outside, and they saw what may or may not be waiting for them. And it was funny because they were tag teamed, and it was amazing to see. And I just sat back and laughed my head off. It was just really, really funny.
Are we gonna ever see that video on your YouTube?
Yeah, definitely. I'll have to put it up sometime. I have it. I don't know when I'm gonna put it up.
Okay.
That kind of scare where it's just like you don't expect it.
I love Goth. I think Gothic was done really well. I love the way that Gothic hits you, because Gothic hits in multiple different ways. It gets you from the side, it gets you from the other side, it gets you from the end, it gets you the entire way you're going through that room before you transition into Nightingales, and I think it's amazing.
I'm going to say this, and I'm probably going to say this a lot. This is the year that I wish I went to Horror Nights, because I just started learning about Horror Nights in the past months.
I've been locked out of Horror Nights ever since 2012, and I really hate that because I really wanted to go to like 2013, 2014, and this year for both coasts.
This is your history lesson. That's what Monsters of Mayhem is. For me especially, it was a history lesson.
And might I say, the facade is one of the best facades I've seen for Horror Nights in the past 5 years.
It's the second best facade this year.
I know what the first best one is.
Yep.
And we will mention that very momentarily. But we are going to talk next on Asylum Wonderland. A house that I have seen videos of. I do not care. I don't like this house.
This house is really fun. Really, really fun. And this is the first time I've ever worn my 3D glasses in a house.
This
Really?
may just be that I haven't been in the house myself, but it doesn't look scary. It doesn't look like a 3D house.
It's not scary. I mean, it's just fun. It's a fun atmosphere. It borrows a lot from the other 3D houses. Obviously, I'm very happy. It has the Christmas room from Penn and Teller, and it also has the Headlines room from Afterlife, and it makes me so happy to see both of those. And I can honestly say that Afterlife has one of my favorite scares in the entire event this year.
And we'll just leave it at that and wait off till podcast for you tomorrow. But
yep,
we have a house that was from 2013, and it was here too soon. And yeah, if it was gone for a longer time, then I would have understood the replicate, but it was just too soon.
I don't even care about the time frame. I will say right.
You shouldn't have done it.
What?
You shouldn't have done
it.
No, I understand why they did.
It's a year, so yeah. But it doesn't seem like it's. It seems like it actually got worse.
It's
heard.
The cast this time around. It's definitely not the same cast, and it shows. There's a lot of scares that were used in 2013 that they took away this time around. Really? They changed some of the aesthetics in the finale. I will give them credit for See You Next Wednesday, because there's some really good characters in the actual theater seats. I thought that was done really well. I like the addition of the other werewolf where it was put, and they got rid of the TARDIS. I don't like what they did with the...
You got rid of the TARDIS?
Yeah, TARDIS is gone. It's in Bill and Ted now. Duh.
I saw that whenever Tim was recording the
I never noticed that.
Bill and Ted. I saw the TARDIS and I saw the other thing.
Is it that
Yeah.
I didn't even notice it?
It's obvious that it's not there, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. Like, it feels a lot more like congested in that room because they put something else in there that makes it a lot more. But there's a really awesome scare from the wolf. I like the new werewolves, I do, but I still think that if you would have taken 2013's Maze 100% verbatim, same cast and everything, don't know how you would have done that, but still, get all that together and you just repeated it verbatim 100%, I would have liked it more. This is my favorite house of all time, and right now it is my number 8. And it makes me feel terrible to say that.
Which number 9 is.
No, let's not say that yet.
I still have not had a good... I've had... Where are we? Get my list here. I have had 14 runs to that house, and I've never had a good run.
14?
14.
I feel really sorry for you because that was a really great house in 2013, and even I've seen videos of that. It was like a masterpiece, and that's just kind of depressing to hear that it got worse.
My
It was
favorite
good.
house of the year, too, and it's like this year it's just... something's missing.
But yeah, now we're going to be talking about what seems to be one of the fan favorite houses from Halloween Horror Nights 25, and that is By Collectors, We Collection.
Yes.
Love
I
it.
think you know one of your favorite facades, because that's
This is the best facade of the year, and it's probably one of the best facades that Horror Nights has ever done. You want to see what we would have done with Crimson Peak? Just take a look at Shady Brook.
yeah, exactly. And my God, that looks beautiful.
It's great because you're walking around, and it's the Evil Dead syndrome. You're literally walking into this. You walk into the sound stage, and you walk past the black curtains, and then you're just hearing the Inception score, and you're hearing like the lightning and the crackle like going off, and then in the distance, before you get around the corner, you see you think you see snow, but you're like, I don't know, it's probably not. It's indoors. And then you see the facade for the first time, and usually when someone walks through for the first time, that's when the Inception score really kicks in, and you hear that gong, and then you see the lightning crashing, and you have the snow falling, and you see like a snow-covered Shady Brook Asylum, and it looks incredible.
And
This house is great.
now, there is some spoilers that is said, but this was said also by Universal Creative. The Spine Rip Girl's back.
Spine Rip is back, and it's one of those timing things, though. If you can't... I'll say this right now. I know people will get mad at me for saying this, but it's okay. If you are walking past the Spine Rip, and it's about to happen, if you have to, I can't say stop the line, but start walking a little bit slower just so you can see it, because it's worth seeing at least once. And it's great because there's actually a scare in that room, too, that has nothing to do with the Spine Rip. And it's a really nice little double team scare because you're paying attention to the Spine Rip, and the second that happens, you have a scare hit you from the other side. And I think that's done really well. It's got another one of the best scares of the year as well. And I'm not talking about the Spine Rip. I'm talking about something else that happens early on in the maze.
And then there's also a little clever Easter egg that kind of gives a little backstory, actually, to two very famous icons. Jack?
It's not...
Well, it's a little Easter egg.
It's not as easy to spot as you would think because they've been putting a character in front of them lately. But if you can spot it, it's really obvious.
Yeah.
It gives you some greater context on the story of those two characters.
Yep.
No wonder.
I was going to say, I forgot to say this earlier. One of my friends went down to Disney last week because he goes to Not So Scary every year.
Me
and
too.
I told him he has to go to Horror Nights, and he said, whatever. So he went to Horror Nights. For 2 nights, he went. He missed every single scare in every single house.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, God.
The next night he went back, hit every single scare.
Oh,
And he called me whenever he was done, and it was like it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and he said, "Dude, I didn't hit any scares." I'm like, "Well, that's weird. Try going back tomorrow and just go at like different times." He's like, "Okay." So he went back the next day. He called me whenever he got a Freddy vs. Jason. He's like, "I feel like this is gonna be a good night."
There's a lot of houses this year that are predicated on timing, and if you miss some scares, it may like develop you to not like the house as much as you could.
Because he almost didn't go back to the body collectors.
That house is incredible.
Speaking of that, let's talk about what was first announced on Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights, Freddy vs. Jason.
I love it.
It took a while to finally get good.
Yes.
And I'll say this: I still really love Freddy vs. Jason, but I really would have picked Del Toro over those two for Hollywood. Not to say they aren't bad or anything; they're really great.
See, Crimson Peak is time sensitive. Freddy vs. Jason isn't.
Yeah, and it was the only chance for John to work with Del Toro, so you gotta keep that in mind.
Are we going to talk about what happens at the end of Freddy vs. Jason? Because I kind of want to ask.
Yeah, that's a funny story too.
Well, I'll tell you a couple things that are not in there that used to be.
Okay.
So, I didn't get in there on preview because the line was 2 hours long. I'm like, I'm not waiting. So, there's no way I'm doing that. And especially now, there's no way I'm waiting anymore. I've got Express. I'm good to go. So, I'm walking in. I finally get to Freddy vs. Jason. I mean, I've only got a chance to do it. Where are you? I've only got a chance to do it 12 times. So it's one of my it's one of my lower ones actually. It's my second lowest, but it's because of the very long wait for it. Well, I'll say when it first opened, like for the first couple of weeks, Jason was in the first room multiple times. We'll just put it that way. And then they took that Jason out and they put him in the streets. So maybe he'll be back now that he's not in the streets, but I haven't got confirmation on that yet. We won't get that till Wednesday. Haha, tonight we'll get confirmation. So maybe when I'm doing my podcast tonight, that'll be a possible confirmation when Freddy and Jason are back.
You mean tomorrow night?
Tonight.
Tonight. It's officially midnight now for me, so yes.
Oh, yeah.
So you basically have a really awesome experience, but the problem is, apparently for the first couple of weeks, they didn't have enough Freddy masks, from what I've heard. So the house was very Jason heavy and barely any Freddy. And then when I finally got to see Freddy in there, it's like, okay, this is getting better. It's getting better. It's getting better. Now I will throw a shout out to my good friend Tyler about saying this, that I'm not big on the screens with a Z, because number one, the graphics take you out of the experience. And it makes me feel like I'm watching the Aladdin virtual reality experience at Disney Quest. That's pretty much the virtual reality I have. They feel like they're fighting in a desert, and it makes no sense. But the audio is awesome, and the audio this year in general is turned up to 11, and it's amazing because.
I want to ask, how did Freddy sound like? Did he sound a little bit like Robert Englund for the Springs?
It is Robert Englund. I mean, they took the audio from Robert Englund and Kane Hodder, and they used that for the actual house. They used the house audio. The screens, I mean, it's one of those really annoying things because there is a time in that maze where they actually do fight. It lasts like 5 seconds, but they actually do fight, and I really like the.
Not as Alien. Guest starring Predator.
They never fought though. Freddy and Jason actually have a moment where they touch each other. They actually fight.
They touch each other.
Yeah, they actually punch each other. It's great.
And not in that place.
No, and one of those things that you have to look into as well is who's going to win. Every time you go through the maze, there's a chance you can get a new ending.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I got the Jason ending like consistently for the first 2 weeks, and then I finally saw Freddy win. And when Jason would win for the first couple of weeks, he just had his machete when he came out, and that was the end of it. Well, then 2 weeks in, he finally got the Freddy head, which is what everybody said was going to be the ending anyway. And when Freddy wins, he just comes out with Jason's mask. So that's pretty much all for that. But I think the audio has done really well in all the houses this year. It sounds like the soundtrack is amped, so you can actually hear the stuff that's going on, which is a problem I've had in the past.
So whenever you went through the house and you saw Jason or Freddy win, how many times did you see each one of them win? Did you count? Or
God, I will say right now I'm probably I saw Jason win a ton in the first couple weeks, but Freddy started to pick up speed. I'm gonna say Jason probably just barely, a little bit more than I've seen Freddy win. But I like when Freddy wins. It's more theatrical. But when Jason wins, he just kind of gets up there and holds Freddy's head, and that's the end of that. So, but that's still a cool image to see, and it's a cool image to walk out of the house with. And it's great when you transition from Camp Crystal Lake to Elm Street. When you walk in for the first time and you hear that soundtrack and you see the jump rope children and it's
the facade of 1428. That's just amazing.
Yeah, the sets are really like stellar this year for sure. But it's no surprise. It's Orlando. We're famous for scenic.
Before we go any further, do you want to talk about either Insidious or do you want to talk about The Purge, Walking Dead, and Run?
I think we should do Insidious, and then let's end with the good note.
Yeah.
Let's start
with Run then, because that kind of seems like a missed opportunity.
It is.
It depends on your cast, though. That's the thing.
I'm just gonna sit back and listen to what you guys have to say about Run, and then I'll give my 2 cents.
I don't have much to say about Run because I haven't seen it.
I have seen videos of it. It looks like a little bit of a missed opportunity, considering what Run could be. It looked really great for what it is, and had a great introduction with the Rain Man and all that, but just like something kind of fell off.
I like the old 80s references. I have seen that. That's probably the only thing I've seen with Run.
But yeah, nothing else. I had high hopes for that one. It looks a little bit off, but it does what it needs to. It's a great 80s throwback house in a way, if you want to say it.
I was hoping that would be the house that would save the disaster queue.
Owen?
Run is my number 3 right now.
Really?
This house is awesome, and it's the house I've been through the most.
I'll say this. The videos I watched, the first one was really great, and I would agree with you. It's my number 3rd favorite, but just like something kind of feels off about it when I watch the others.
It's clear that I'm in the minority this year with my list, I'm sure. I mean, for 1 and 2, I'm sure pretty much everybody is in agreement with, but
I'll agree with you on number 3. That one is one great, like, farewell to disaster, but it's just like there could have been something more.
Run and Giggles and Gore were a good 1-2 punch for disasters closing years. I think that was done really well. This house is awesome. I will say that the characters are always on point. I really think that they're really interactive. I've been called out by name numerous times in this maze.
I love that.
And when you get a personal tinge to a call out, when you get called out personally, it becomes a lot more of a different experience.
Becomes personal.
It becomes extremely personal.
Which one is your favorite country? Because I know mine.
Is your favorite country Canada?
Yeah.
Or Germany?
Canada.
Everybody says that. That's the first time I got called out in Run, actually, was in Canada.
Was it with the female?
No, that would be the gentleman. That would be Chainsaw. His name in the house is Chainsaw, and the girl that everybody fawns over her name is Chipper.
I love Chainsaw, but I love Chipper more.
No, I'm a Candy Girls guy myself, to be honest.
We're gonna have to talk about Run after.
Run is great. Run has a great soundtrack.
Smooth Criminal is in the queue.
The Q video is amazing. I think that was done really well. I love how I said that Warden Strickland would be the person that was going to host. It's Warden Strickland's son, so it's close enough. And I really like how they have the actual scoreboards that are in the transition rooms that'll tell you pretty much what you're going to be walking into. It says, like, this group just got 5 points, and Disco Bob is still missing. To this day, Disco Bob's still missing. But Disco Bob's still missing. But it's one of those things that I really like it because it sets you up, and it can be very personable. I mean, we went through that house when it was just me and Tyler, and that was it, and it was really fun. And I've been called out in the house. I've had, like, the cops in the first room. I've been nailed by them. I mean, it's not necessarily a scary house, but it's fun. It's a fun atmosphere, and it's a great way for disaster to go out.
I do love Japan.
Japan's great, but the timing for the guy that's not Sergeant Kabuki Man is kind of hard to get sometimes.
Is the guy from Big Hero 6 in this house too? Kabuki Mask?
Sergeant Kabuki Man is like a trauma character, and there is a character in Japan that actually looks somewhat like that character, and I've basically got it confirmed that that's pretty much a nod to that character.
But yeah, I do think it is in my top 5, but I wouldn't say top 3.
I've been fighting with 3 and 4 right now, so I mean, I think right now Run has the advantage, but I mean, who knows if it'll change after 2 weeks from now.
If I say Run would be number 4.
Run was number 4, and then I got some really sweet run-throughs that were very personal, so I thought that was done really well.
You got some sweet run-throughs of Run?
Yes. In more ways than one.
But there was one thing that you were hoping for that didn't happen.
Or did it?
I'm talking about the end.
Well, the thing about that is, I really think that was a missed opportunity, but I do like the way that they ended it because, like I said, hashtag Candy Girls Forever. But I will say, and it's really cool because it's done really well with the chain link fences and the chainsaw guys look like indie workers. I thought that's done really well, and they basically chase you out of the maze. So I thought that was a good way to end it. But I still think that final room could have been the bonus round idea that I came up with. That would have been awesome.
That would have been fun, and would have given that one character some more background.
Because technically, he's not in a house this year.
And she is not.
And she is not a part of anything except for the show this year.
Which seems like a damn shame. Well, actually, no, she's a part of the RP tour.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, I know, but...
Okay, I know what I think I'm back on track with what we're talking about, because I really don't know much about Run at all. I just knew it was 10 shows.
But now we are going to talk about the 2... controversial ones.
Let's talk about Walking Dead first.
We'll decide all together. Which one do we want to talk about? Column A or
Walking Dead?
Walking
Dead.
Walking Dead was... No wonder why they joked about it this year.
It's
okay. Okay, here's the thing. I'm going to say this right now, and this may be biased.
Don't say you're number 5.
I don't care. I'm gonna be biased on this one. There is one cast for The Walking Dead that is spot on and absolutely amazing. They are out to scare, they're out to do what they have to do, and they look like they actually care. They're really trying to make something out of nothing. Because obviously no one really wants to do The Walking Dead. But they're actually caring. My problem is, in the runs I've had of this house, I've only got that cast a handful of times. The other cast seem bored and not caring, and the scares are not there at all. But like I said...
If you were to rank that house, where would it be?
It's at 9, and the one thing I will say is walkers in a hot tub. That's the one thing I've been saying all year, and it's really true. Walkers in a hot tub.
quoted that tweet. I think I quoted that. I retweeted that. I replied to
Oh,
you.
it's a Walker Tub time machine.
Oh God, no. No.
I get the idea.
Walker's in a hot tub, and there is nobody that can tell me different. Because I've done a Masking the Horror, and I know for a fact it's true.
It doesn't smell awful.
It smells like chlorine in there.
Awful then.
Which isn't bad because I'm smelling like alcohol and like weird food combinations when I'm walking through at the park. So chlorine isn't that terrible of a smell.
You're smelling jacked up carnage.
Yeah,
Jacked up carnage doesn't really have a smell.
I feel really sorry for Hollywood because they're probably the ones that are gonna force that one because their house was really good. Well, Orlando's just kind of sucked.
The thing is, you have to understand that we had our biggest Walking Dead maze last year. Hollywood's getting it this year.
Exactly, but it's just like it's kind of sad that it should have happened in Hollywood last year as well, but I understand why, space limitations and all that. But just like something feels off about Orlando's Walking Dead.
It's not a scary house at all. It can be. It can be very intense, but I mean, like I said, one cast. It's not there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if I was to rate it, I'd probably give it like a 4 or 3.
I'd give it a 2.
It's my number 9 right now. But I don't think there's any possible way that's changing.
I know the next one hurts.
Can we talk about that one last then?
Yeah, I think we should.
I wanted to talk about Insidious last because it's good, but if you
I think we should let everyone decide because that one house is very much personal.
yes.
Yeah, it really is.
Owen?
Okay, we're going to talk about The Purge. So everyone that's listening probably knows what it could have, would have, should have, and still will be one day.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know I've mentioned a lot of things, but I'm trying not to, like, name drop things, though. Even, I'm not going to spoil things. I'm not going to talk about it. But I will state that if you go through the house, it feels very familiar. I think that's the word I used in my review. It feels very familiar. If you are a fan of a certain franchise that rightfully should have been at the event this year, and you will see, and you go through the house, you will see a lot of things that don't look very Purge-like, we'll put it that way, or some things that were purgified in order to work.
Some things that felt very stabbed to have it.
Yeah, let's just say that the purge isn't taking place inside it's taking place inside of a fictitious town. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
I will say it's funny because on preview night the lights are up and you can see a lot more. And I remember going through it on preview night, and I was just like smiling. I walked through the house smiling, and I was like, "This is exactly what I wanted." It just has all this freaking graffiti all over it. But I mean, I get there on Friday night when it opens, and it's dark in there, and it's a really intense house. There's a lot of really great imagery in the house. There's a lot of characters from the movie in the house. They did a lot with something that they've never, I don't know if they've done it before, but it's something that we've talked about people doing before, and they added this as a stinger in the midway point of the house when you're like, why is this here? This doesn't make any sense for the Purge, but it's one of those things. I'm sure it's probably confusing people that like the movies, but it's a very stellar house. I mean, it's my number 4 right now, and it's barely number 4. I think it could take run spot, but I'm doubting it at this point. It just depends on what kind of run-throughs I get in the next couple weeks, but it's a really great house, and they really did a lot with something that they pretty much had to do from scratch at the very last minute, and I will give them kudos for that.
Sad.
Now,
Oh, yeah, it is.
I mean,
I would have probably tried to make it down if the other franchise was in there.
I'm going to say this. If you were given The Purge or that one IP that didn't make it, would you want them both, or would you want one of them?
I want them both because I want a real Purge house that is based on an original concept. You have to look at this house, even though it was done at the last minute. It's basically not the Purge from the movie. It's not the Purge from anything. It's basically an original property, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give credit to The Purge that it's at least unique in many ways. But
Because what I thought the Purge house would have been was going to be based off of the first movie. And I've seen it run through someone, I think it was Theme Park Review, their walkthrough of it, and it had Purge anarchy elements into it.
Yeah, it had a lot from both 1 and 2 in it.
Yeah,
no matter what, I do.
More ways than one.
No matter what, I do think it's a lock that next year we are going to see the return of The Purge for a Fallen House.
I don't think so. I think Hollywood gets it.
I think Hollywood gets it, but I think we get a scare zone for Purge 3.
Who knows?
I loved the Purge scare zone last year. I loved watching it.
You have to do something heavy duty in New York, and the Purge works well in New York.
Exactly. But we'll see what happens next year. Maybe they do a Fallen House, maybe they do a Fallen Scare Zone. It really all depends what they do. But let's save one of the best houses for last. And I know
In my opinion, it's the best house.
Oh, boy.
you don't like this house, do you?
This house is my number 6 right now.
Oh. Whew.
I think I'm going to leave this to you two.
It is all about timing, and I have had run-throughs of this house that I have hit absolutely everything. Spot on, got hit 3 times in the finale room by all 3 characters. Phenomenal run. Then I've had other times that I've missed absolutely everything. And I've done a lot more missed absolutely everything runs than stellar runs, so that's the reason why this house has to be so low on my list.
I like
The house is awesome, but I mean, if you're missing things, it's not as good of an experience.
I've watched a video on one of the Insidious videos, and personally, I haven't seen the movies at all because I refuse. I'm starting to get into horror movies, but I'm starting to slowly get into them. Like, I've just recently watched Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th. And I'm kind of paranoid at that right now, so we're going to lay off a little bit of the slasher horror, and I'm kind of trying to get back into it real quick and get Insidious.
I'm planning on doing Insidious and The Conjuring and all that.
Yeah, you might want to watch The Conjuring for next year.
Yeah, especially considering the fact that there were some meetings in LA very recently.
Well, I'm really scared to watch The Conjuring.
It's not scary.
Just wait till you have to go through it.
Yeah.
And I'm planning on coming to 26.
Me too.
Yeah,
But
you'll
So, yeah, that's gonna be something.
Well, Hollywood's gonna get it too, so don't worry.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
But
for me, Insidious, best house, 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Just don't tiptoe through it.
through your tulips.
See, the sad thing is sometimes you have to, because I've had the biggest cluster and log jam when it comes down to that house. I've actually been stuck in a room and saw the same. We were stuck in the hallway, and the scare it ended up happening like 4 times. I was like, you don't have to keep going. We're the same people.
And with Insidious, which is weird, not weird because it's a great house, it's had the longest waits on slow nights
140.
and the shortest waits on busy nights.
Insidious and Freddy vs. Jason have consistently been the ones that have actually had the longest waits.
And that might be because of popularity. We don't know. It just
And they're in different corners of the park, which makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they're at different ends of the park, because if you had Insidious and Freddy vs. Jason right next to each other, that would be a lot of traffic.
it already is that anyway, without that being the case.
Yeah.
Especially at ET.
Yeah, that's how you actually. It's a weird thing with ET. That's actually how, when it's too long, that's where they reroute you for The Walking Dead.
Now, before we begin, what are our overall thoughts of HHN if no one else watches what we do for podcasting for Horror Nights? Owen?
Go. If you have any way of going the next couple weeks, do it. Do whatever you have to do to get to Horror Nights this year. This is a great year to start going. This is a great year for fans. It's a great year for the general public. It's got a little bit of something for everyone. It's got stellar shows this year. The cast really cares on The Carnage Returns. Bill and Ted is phenomenal as always. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And all the characters are definitely there. They got a lot of veterans in the streets that have been doing it for years, so they definitely know what they're doing. And they're out to scare you and make you laugh, let you have a great time. It's a party atmosphere this year. Like Parkscope said that, and I totally agree. It's a party atmosphere this year. That's what it feels like.
Travis, if no one watches our podcast anymore, what would you say for those who may want to go home Horror Nights? What would you say?
Just go. Just don't drink that jacked up Carnage crap, because I looked at the recipe and my dad drinks bourbon and moonshine and everything under the sun. I gave him the list of ingredients. He said, that sounds like butt. And I'm pretty sure it tastes like butt too.
I have a Blinky cup, but I'll be honest, it's the most expensive Buzz Cola I ever bought in my life.
I feel like all these houses will get a lot better throughout the year, or throughout the rest of the month.
I'm worried about one, but I'm having a good feeling about all of them.
I have a feeling that only 5 by the end of Horror Nights will be up for House of the Year.
I have a feeling. Okay, so Halloween Horror Nights 25 is the best year of Halloween Horror Nights ever since 23, 24, and even earlier years 1917 and so on. This is the year for you to come back as a Halloween Horror Nights fan. If you have been very far away from the event ever since Fear or Late Luck, come back to the event. It's great. It's a lot better than it has been. For new fans of Halloween Horror Nights, come. It is one of the best events that has been throughout the past 25 years, with some of the biggest IPs and some of the biggest storytelling that's ever been done for a Halloween event. That is without its problems, which we are about to talk right now of something that happened actually on Sunday and Saturday. And this is a buyer beware situation, because the lines for Saturday and Sunday were the worst so far out of this year's event. Let's talk about that.
I think they're the worst we've ever seen.
Yeah. Owen?
It's getting bad, but luckily I didn't get extreme wait. I mean, it's to the point that a lot of the nights that were 1 o'clock closings, for the last week I was there, it was kind of they decided they wanted to raise the stakes and run it until 2 instead of 1.
I don't blame them.
I don't blame them either. I thought they were going to do that for the entire event, except for the first week.
It wouldn't surprise me if there's a lot more 2 a.m. closings for closing week. It depends on how the crowds go. Don't forget, we've got Wednesdays now, so you have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for Horror Nights. So.
Yeah.
Which I think is great.
Oh yeah, completely agreed.
But what would your recommendation be, Owen?
Oh God. Okay, 2 things.
One thing that I would say first, go over to the Coke Freestyles. If you have a bottle of water that's empty, go put some water in it. It is ice cold, and it will actually be able to get you through the night if you're not a drinker. That would help you.
And don't get dehydrated.
Get the Coke Freestyle cup anyway, because it's a Horror Nights cup.
Exactly. It will give you unlimited refills for the night, I believe, right?
And then you basically pay $5.99 plus tax, and you can get it from now on till forever.
Yeah. So it really makes sense if you're here for multiple nights with a freaking Fear Pass or any like any sort of vacation, get a Coke Freestyle. It will save you the hassle.
And you can use it as a coffee cup when you go back home.
Or a cleaning utensil for help. It really all depends on your usage.
Yeah, I'd use it as a cup. Actually, I would just use it as a cup for everything.
Me too.
And seriously, all you have to do is you just go to a Coke Freestyle machine, and for the entire duration of the evening, you can refill your soda, or you can refill water. I mean, it's got a little bit of everything. And I mean, it's for the ones that don't drink alcohol or the ones that don't want to drink any more alcohol. But it's definitely worth it because you have a souvenir and you also have a drink cup. So for the rest of the night, you can get water anytime you want, and you don't even have to pay for water. And all you have to do is get one of those. Get like a Crystal Light or a Mio, or even if you really want to, get one of the Gilly water potions, and bang, there you go.
And on top of all that, Halloween Horror Nights this year is much more crowded than it has been ever before. So here's advice that's very much needed. Go, it really all depends on your route that you want to go to Horror Nights. If you want to go north and then east, okay, that's best for you. But if you want to go a much more faster route, then Owen, you want to give them any suggestions?
Okay, your best bet is to stay in Scream. If you have a day ticket, stay in Scream is your best bet. If you are staying on property, use the hotel entrance on the right-hand side. It's definitely going to save you some time. If you are not having any of those and you're just a day guest, my advice to you is get to the gate as soon as you can, and then they'll let you basically in a holding area before everything. You can see the opening ceremony, and you can head towards the sound stages. But I would definitely suggest stay in Scream if you're able to. It's definitely worth it. I mean, I've had some great experience in Springfield and great experience in Finnegan's, so I haven't done Diagon yet, but I'd like to.
Let's quickly mention the houses that are actually able to be used for Stay and Scream. For the Finnegan's New York, you have Freddy vs. Jason, I believe.
Yep.
And Buy Collectors?
It opens at 6:30, I believe.
Okay.
It's not right away. It's like by the time you're out of Freddy vs. Jason, you should be able to see what the wait on Monsters and Mayhem and hit it before it gets too busy. Hit Werewolf, but the thing is, I'd skip Werewolf because Werewolf, its time is never too long. And later on in the night, it gets like 15 minutes. So if you're willing to stick it out, I'd say wait. Hit Body Collectors.
If you're doing American Werewolf, don't go in the middle of the time of the event because they will be the busiest during that time. But yes, for the Lucy, I believe it's 25 years.
It's Monsters and Mayhem, and the problem with Lucy is they actually hold you longer. At least in my. Then again, it was pouring the rain down the other day, but still, they hold you longer. I think the shortest wait is Springfield because it seems like at 6:30 on the dot, you were going straight to Walking Dead and The Purge. So,
which yes, the Springfield will be The Walking Dead, The Living Dead, and The Purge.
Yep.
And for Diagon Alley, I believe it is Insidious.
Diagon Alley is Insidious. You're correct. But buyer beware. Don't forget when you go into a house. When it's sunny outside or when it's daytime, you have to realize for the first couple houses you're not going to be able to see anything, so it's going to be a lot darker experience.
Now that doesn't mean for all houses. If you do the Lucy Stay and Scream, you will actually have a better way of entering because even though if it is somewhat the day, it's not exactly as bad because you do at least have a covered portion. So you at least have that in you, but it's still daytime, so you gotta keep that in mind.
The first couple houses, regardless, you're going to have trouble seeing. It's going to be a lot darker the first couple houses than when the sun goes down and it's dark outside.
And for Run, we also advise, if you can get the chance, try to go with the second cast because that seems to be the better cast.
And go during the day.
Yeah. Go during the day, go the second cast. That is the best option for you if you do plan on going and Run. Even though, yes, it may be better at night, the best option is at day, where you have the better cast and better experience.
Run is better during the day, and it has a different atmosphere at night. At night, the only thing about daytime is you're not going to be able to see the Q video. But
if you're willing to sacrifice that and just hear it while you wait, then that's perfectly fine by us. But if you're planning on going Insidious, would you prefer to be day or night? Because it does get night. Actually, yes, I would say night too, because during the night it is very much more illuminated and it's very much more beautiful looking at night. There's a much larger contrast from the day and the night cycle.
Again, when you're going through Insidious, when it's one of your first houses, it's kind of like your eyes aren't adjusted to the darkness yet. So when you're going through Insidious, it's even darker. But once the darkness hits later on in the night, if you can go to Insidious again, if you're able to get past that through Express or other means, you are able to see a better experience.
And also, The Purge, don't do it at day. There is loud strobes and various effects that will cause some problems. So we advise you to do it. It'd be best to do it at night because it does have some problems.
Do it at both times, honestly, because if you are in if you are in any sort of the back corner at all, my advice to you is if you are going to stay in Scream in Springfield, then you need to do those 3 houses right away. Get that stuff done. Get over to Run by 6:30 when it opens and be one of the first people inside.
Exactly.
And then try to get over to Asylum in Wonderland, and by that time it should be time for Bill and Ted, so you can hit that, or if you want to skip Bill and Ted.
I either have the choice when you have Asylum, Bill and Ted, or The Card Return, so you gotta at least choose one of those.
And you hit the other one later on in the night.
Yeah.
If I was going, I would choose Bill and Ted's first, and then go to Carnage at night.
You hit Carnage probably midway through the night would be your best bet.
Yeah, I'd say midway, but you could do it at the end of the night when it's at like big finale type of thing, but you never know what could happen. The actors for Jack's Carnage Returns, the only one I do know, and I think Owen can help me, is a man named James Keaton, and he is the original actor responsible for the portraying the classic icons of Jack and the Caretaker. So you best want to do, if you can try to get it, the shows with him, but that's not exactly a guarantee.
It's not actually publicized which ones he's doing.
I know.
Well, it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. So
if you check on your social media, there's a good chance you could try to track it, but it's just hard. But
I will say the person that is also doing Jack this year, you'll notice him. You want to see what he actually looks like outside of the paint. All you got to do is check out Bobby Strickland and Run. But I will say right now, he's not the same, but he's growing into the character, and he's doing a very good job. So your best bet, obviously, is to catch the original Jack the Clown. But if you end up seeing the other Jack the Clown, you're not going to be disappointed. And if you didn't know any better, you probably couldn't tell there was a difference anyway, unless you were paying that close attention.
And Chance, I believe, has 2 actresses, correct?
Not anymore.
Just one?
She had a second one for the first week or so, and then there's been one after that. They haven't had a swing that I'm aware of.
So, is it the original Chance, or is it just...
Correct.
Okay, so the original Chance. That makes sense.
I love Chance.
Everyone does. That's the reason why you'll never see her in a scare zone, and you won't see any sort of photo opportunity, because we saw what happened with the other characters in the scare zones the last couple weeks. So,
now that being said, it is possible in the future to get some more background in a house, but that's very far from this boundary right now.
You won't see her in a house. You will see someone else as Chance in the house.
Yes, but you know what I mean. You'll see the character in the house, but not the actress.
Right.
Can I say something about what to do or what not to do at Horror Nights real quick?
Oh, yes. Yeah, and I do have something else to say.
Don't touch the scare actors.
Yes. Treat people the other way you want to be treated. And especially that Kyle said this perfectly. And there's an etiquette. We will mention this in the show notes. He has a great etiquette on what to do and what not to do on Halloween Horror Nights, so you can get some more info out of him. But, yeah, we wish that for the safety of you and the actor, do not touch him. touch him or her, because that can result
Especially her.
Well, it could result in violation of rights violation, and you will be escorted out of the park with no refund, and you will be somewhat dealt with
You'll be banned. You'll be banned from the park.
for however long it'll be, a lifetime or we don't know. But please do act accordingly and responsibly in this event. Do not jump on the sets. Do not do anything of that.
Oh, that picture of that girl on the caretaker's table, that just drives me nuts.
It made me want to get the caretaker to just act like and just get him to walk on there while she's on there and see what happens.
And the same thing happened with Elsa from Storyteller, where one person was talking back at her, and she wasn't talking, and it's just like, treat people the way you want to be treated, because that is not the way to be done.
Yeah.
But we know it will happen. We know that it can't be stopped. So please try to act accordingly and do not touch whatsoever. But do you have anything else to say before we finish up the podcast? One more thing.
If you're able to go this year, just enjoy yourself. Like, sometimes we all get really hypercritical about everything, and we want to like say, well, this doesn't look right, this doesn't look right. Just go have fun. Seriously, this is a great year. Just have fun with it. I mean, get everything in, find a way. If you have one night, your best bet is either Express or an RIP tour.
Yeah.
It's a guarantee you're going to get everything in. And even with an RIP tour, Carnage Returns is not involved in that. So you'd have to find a way to see Carnage Returns outside, because obviously there's no seating in Carnage at all.
And, yeah, once again, if you have the chance, go Halloween Hornet for this year. It is, without a doubt, the best year that has been for Halloween Hornets in a long time.
Yeah, totally.
And if you have a chance to visit anything this year, if you have a chance to go to Fright Fest or Knott's, or if you have a chance to go to Hallow Scream, I mean, it's a good year for haunts in general this year. So just check it out. Seriously, go to a local haunt, just check it out.
And I want to say this also, the haunts this year have been exceedingly great, especially with Halloween Hornets Hollywood, which I do hope we get to talk about it a little bit more in depth next week, because we were going to talk about it, but that was kind of part of the plan, and unfortunately we kind of got a little short on time. But we have one more thing to discuss, and that is, because of some people, if they don't watch the content from me or Sherman on Disney or not here, what do we predict for next year's Halloween Horror Nights 26?
Oh gosh. Okay, let me think.
I wanted to talk about.
Okay, how are we capped on houses?
9.
9. Okay. You should have gave me 8.
I'm thinking 5 IPs, 4 originals.
Okay.
I'm thinking Fear the Walking Dead.
No, don't tell me. Let me think.
No, I'm saying mine.
Okay.
I think for IPs, we are going to see Fear the Walking Dead. Due to the massive popular success of the TV show, you will probably see Season 1 and Season 2 fit into that. And I do think that's a very good possibility. Number 2, either 1 or 2 Michael Daughtry films. This is going to be a very interesting year if Krampus is indeed successful, but we also have Trick or Treat coming along the way, and that's going to be interesting. Third is a very big one, and that was said earlier, The Conjuring. Now, this is very much a possibility, and who knows, it could happen. My last IP, because if Michael Daughtry gets 2, then that kind of fills in the boat. But my last IP is a classic, and I think we are going to see classic horror IP, whether or not it's like Return of Evil Dead with Ash, or if it's something else, I think we're going to see something classic horror related. That's my predictions for IPs. Richard and Travis?
I'm still thinking I have 2 more.
Owen?
I'm going last.
Dang it,
I'm going to say my originals then.
Are we allowed to say what Purge was going to be if we think it's going to be a house next year?
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Let me think of 2 more.
Originals, I think we're going to see some Legendary Truth. I think we're going to see a 3D house again. I think we are going to see an urban legend house.
Ooh.
And if anyone remembers, there was one house that was supposed to be a Legendary Truth. I don't think it'll be just a Legendary Truth house. I think Legendary Truth will be its own thing. I think we're getting up to it. So that's 3 houses. The 4th house, and I thought it would have been Caretaker in this next year, but the more I think about it, the more I think it'd be a disservice, and I think it'd be a much better idea if you bring back Eddie. I don't think it'll be just him. I think it'll be Jack. I think we're going to see something very similar to the Freddy vs. Jason, Alien vs. Predator, where it's half Jack, half Eddie, and it'll be a very intense, very rigorous house. I don't think it's going to be a parade building. I don't think it's going to be anything. I think it's going to be a soundstage house.
You just said 10 houses.
Oh, no, wait, what do you mean?
You said 10 houses.
Well, okay, so what did I say? I said El Kukui, Legendary Truth. I said...
Give me one of them, because I'm stuck. I can't think of 2 original houses.
I said... And then because I said a 3D house, Legendary Truth, El Kukui, and the 4th house I said a Freddy vs. Jason style house with Jack and Eddie. I didn't say a 5th house.
You said an Urban Legends house.
Oh. Yeah, that's what I meant for El Kukui.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean that. I didn't say it in the right way.
Nope.
Shows, I think we're going to see another Jack show. I think we're going to see another Bill and Ted show. Where Jack's show is going to be, I think it's the same area, or we're going to see in Terminator 2. It's going to be a really hard thing to do, but I think they can make it work in Terminator. Scare Zones 4. I don't think we're seeing anything at San Fran. Maybe a Roman Horde, but I don't doubt. I don't see it. That's my lineup. 9 houses, 4 IPs, 5 IPs, 4 originals, Jack and A being the icons, and 2 shows with 4 Scare Zones.
I still only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 1 more. I'm just gonna say there's gonna be 8, because I doubt they're gonna do 9.
What's yours?
Okay, I actually have 5 IPs and 3 originals.
Okay.
My 5 IPs are Fear the Walking Dead, of course, because they have to bring some sort of Walking Dead back. Conjuring, which I don't doubt at all. I think we're going to see Crimson Peak come over.
I don't think that. As Owen said perfectly, it's time sensitive.
But we had Insidious this year that was time sensitive too.
Not really.
Exactly. Yeah, not exactly.
And then I had Scream. And then I think that the 3D houses, I think they're going to bring in This Is the End.
What?
I think they're going to bring This Is the End to Orlando.
Okay, continue.
And I think that it's because it's actually, I've heard a lot about it in Hollywood. And I've heard a lot of people liking it in Hollywood.
We will be talking about it next week on the podcast.
Yes. I would love to see this in the end because, one, I'm not going to be able to fly to California in the next couple weeks to see it, and two, I really actually like that movie. And I want to see them put it in a different scale and a better, like, a more effective scale in Orlando. You know,
it'd be 10 times better in Orlando, though. I'll say that easily.
Well,
yeah, I can see what you mean by that. It could be a very better house, but what do you think on originals?
I have 2 legit ones and 1 non-legit. My 2 legit ones are, of course, the Jack and Eddie house because I think that's going to be a thing. And then I think they're going to bring back Nightingales. I really do.
That's not a bad one to say.
Because there's not a lot of people that are talking about Nightingales. They're just saying, oh, Nightingales are in the 25 house. And, But my non-legit one, I think there's going to be an HHN bear house.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to take back what I said about the urban legend of Kukui. I think we're going to see some sort of, if that would be like a soundstage house, I think some people know what I'd probably be saying instead, and that'd be something like a Wild Wild West type maze, much like the Deadwood house from 04.
Yeah.
Because I think it's possible to do something like that, considering the odds. But if they do something El Kukui related with Legendary Truth, or just a Legendary Truth and El Kukui house separated from each other, and who knows? But yeah, I think we're seeing. Yeah, Owen.
Well, wow.
I know you're thinking one icon coming back.
I think right now that we're in the second age of icons, and I think that's going to lead to 30 when we get the Terror Queen coming back, because I do believe in canon. I say the Caretaker, along with Cindy, will be your icons this year.
Yes.
I'm looking at The Walking Dead, not Fear the Walking Dead. I think Fear the Walking Dead's Hollywood only.
Really?
I think Walking Dead is...
That would actually be really smart, because the show is set in Los Angeles.
I think we get a Walking Dead house that is actually going to be done in a sprung tent.
Really?
I think that's a very interesting atmospheric situation. I think that would be really cool to do. I agree with Trick or Treat.
Do you agree with Krampus?
No, I do not. I think we get Dark Christmas I think we could get Dark Christmas as a scare zone, but I do not think we're not going to get Krampus.
Do you think we're going to see an Orphanage sequel?
I'll get to that. I say Scream.
Yay.
I think Scream will be Orlando only. The Conjuring, I think, is going to be a share on both coasts. I think Trick or Treat is a share on both coasts. I'm going to go with Orlando only, House of a Thousand Corpses. I know that they really want it, and I think that's going to happen. And I think there's a very slight possibility that Hollywood would get 31 and we would get House of a Thousand Corpses out of it.
What do you mean by 31?
Rob Zombie's new horror movie, 31.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It'd be an interesting maze, honestly, if they do it right. My 3D house is based on They Live.
Ooh.
It's set up perfectly, and with the passing of Roddy Piper, I think it's time sensitive too, and I think it'd be a great idea. I think that we're getting a house with the Caretaker's getting an icon house. I haven't called them off.
Do you think we're going to see a very similar house to the original Scream house?
I think somewhat, but I think there's going to be differences too. I called it the Mausoleum, and I think it's going to be your Caretaker house. I think we're going to get an original concept for Sleepy Hollow. And my last house is going to be a mixture of the Orphanage and Dollhouse of the Damned, which is going to feature Cindy.
Yes.
So you mean like a crossover house with Cindy and the dolls?
Yes.
That's actually nice. If you think that, then where do you think that'd be located? Do you think it'd be a soundstage?
It depends. God, I'm looking at my list here. I had a lineup of what I had. So, Walking Dead would be in a Sprung, Trick or Treat's in a soundstage, House of a Thousand Corpses in a soundstage. I think Scream will be in a Sprung tent. I think The Conjuring's in a soundstage. They Live will be in Shrek. Mausoleum is in a soundstage. Yeah, you're gonna have to. I would say. Actually, no. I'm gonna say. Ooh,
Parade building?
not. You might be able to.
That's going to say.
Sleepy Hollow for the parade building, actually.
Then you think.
Because we'll get another soundstage at it. There'll be another location that'll be used next year, and I think that's going to be where Orphanage Dollhouse Hybrid is.
If you're going to say Mausoleum, I think Mausoleum's being in 25.
It's a possibility, unless they put The Conjuring in 25.
I think Mausoleum for 25. 21 would see two houses, much like the American Werewolf and Resident Evil.
Well, location's the one thing I'll bring up. We'll talk about later, but that's what I'm thinking right now. Bill and Ted for sure. I think The Caretaker gets a show, and my outside of the box idea is Van Helsing.
Ooh.
What would you think the show for Caretaker would be about?
You probably do the same stage that where Carnage Returns is right now.
But what would you think the theme would be?
Killing people.
Well, no,
basically embalming people.
Do you think it'd be like some sort of giant observatory?
I wouldn't go that far. I'm thinking it would be some sort of just basically a kill show. Like, maybe they do like a mini set where people would like wander into the Caretaker's like home, and the next thing you know, they meet their end. I mean, it sounds more like a house idea, but that actually fits the Mausoleum more than the actual show. But I think we're gonna get like a sacrifice show is pretty much what I'm looking at.
That being said, do you think this is the year, and I think you know the question I'm going to ask, do you think we're going to see a change to the aesthetic of both Caretaker and Cindy?
I think it was an original idea I had. It was like a younger version of everybody, but I mean, it could go either way at this point. I really think that it could work, and it would work, but I don't know if that's the direction they'll go or not, because Albert Kane is a very scary guy if you just look at him. So
because if Albert returns, I bet you that we're going to see James reprise that role as well.
It depends. You never know.
Well, James is literally Horror Nights for actors.
Well, yeah, he's a lot more than just Horror Nights.
Well, you know what I mean, but he's like the one actor that made Horror Nights what it was with Jack.
He's made everything the way it is because he's done so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I really would think that throughout these past few years that James pretty much is working with Viola and trying to bring like his acting chops back for the character. Because he is one of the big actors of Horror Nights.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Even more than the current Bill and Ted. They're really... Keen's the big one.
Well, yeah, and getting him back is a big deal, so...
Yeah, it is.
Might as well make it useful.
Yeah.
But yeah, do we have anything else to talk about for tonight? Because we are over time.
Yeah, way over.
Alright, that being said, thank you everyone for watching this very long edition of the Coaster Casters podcast for the week of October 13, 2015. Joining us tonight was Sir Owen Disney. Where can we find you?
Tweet me at Sir Owen Disney. You can Facebook me, Owen Disney. Our Facebook fan page for Pop is Sir Owen Disney Pop. or you can search for Suro and Disney and Pop if you want to look for it manually. We're on moviepilot.com. We've got a mobile app on iTunes for Suro and Disney, and we've got merchandise coming soon, and we've got a new website that we're working on, so hopefully we'll be able to break that out for everyone very soon. And starting tonight, 7 o'clock p.m., I will be doing another edition of the Halloween Horror Nights 25 podcast. I will be joined by both Tyler and Andy from Homemade Haunt, as well as good friends of mine, Jeremy Films and Scream 101 Ian and Cryptic Cameron. We're going to have a great time talking Halloween Horror Nights 25. For the last 3 weeks, we've been attending the event, so should be a really fun talk for sure.
That's an amazing list.
Yes.
Because Travis, where can we find you?
You can find me on my website, coasterfreak25.weebly.com. Yes, it's a Weebly page right now, but it'll get there sooner or later. On Twitter, coasterfreak259. Instagram, TheCoasterFreak25. Periscope, CoasterFreak25, and YouTube, which is the Coaster Podcast.
All right. Anything else you want to tell them about?
Should we talk about people real quick that we want them to go follow?
Oh, yeah, sure. Once again, thank you very much for our 2 panelists that had to leave a little early, Ken and Bryce. They will be here at next week's episode, well, hopefully Ken, because we are going to be probably talking about Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood, since we didn't exactly have that much time. But,
No, we didn't.
That being said, we also would like to shout out to multiple people in the industry, ranging from Orlando United, from Orlando United, Halloween Horror Nights, Orlando Hollywood. We would also like to shout out to other media. Go, Tristan, Travis, if you want.
Tristan, wow.
I thought for a second.
You're good. Theme Parks and Travel, or on Twitter, that's TP Travels. HHN UK, HHN there. And I hope I pronounced this right, but Mike and Nikki Lostraglio.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes, but they follow me. They're pretty cool. They're Bay Lake Society people, and they stand with SeaWorld just like me, so yeah.
And that's it for you. You can follow me at Alex Show Official on Twitter. Go on my YouTube channel, subscribe at Alex Show Productions. I will be doing a HHN talk on October 24th or the 25th. I am hoping to have Sora and Disney, HHN Fan 16, HHN Fan 13, and other very big people. I do hope that we can talk more there, but thank you everyone for watching the inaugural episode of The Coaster Casters, Episode 1. And what should we call this episode? This one goes up to 11? How about that?
Yeah.
Subscribe to Pop.
Yeah.
Let's just call it This One Goes to 11 because it really went too far.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But, yeah, thank you guys, everyone, for watching from the executive producer. Have a great night, everyone. Peace out, motherfuckers. We cannot wait to see you next week with the Q and Dean Part in Coaster Casters. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye.